Hello everyone, and welcome to the Saiyan What Ifs. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Goku was born with Ultra Instinct. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Chapter 1. Silver Genesis. The pod hurtled through Earth's atmosphere, its metal shell glowing incandescent against the darkening sky. Inside, an infant slept, silver eyes flickering beneath closed lids. This was no ordinary child, his tail curled protectively around his waist as cosmic radiation bathed the small craft. The pod's trajectory brought it screaming over a mountain range where bamboo forests swayed in the evening breeze, oblivious to the alien arrival that would forever alter the fate of this world. Son Gohan paused his evening trek home, weathered hand shielding his eyes as the strange object carved a blazing path overhead. The old martial artist, T had witnessed many wonders in his long life, but the silver-streaked comet descending into the valley sent a premonition shivering through his aged bones. Without hesitation, he altered course, following the dissipating trail of smoke and scattered debris. The crater stretched 30 feet across, Earth scorched in a perfect circle around the metallic sphere partially embedded in bedrock. Approach cautious but unafraid, Gohan descended the crater's edge, boots sliding against loose soil. The sphere hissed, pressure equalizing with Earth's atmosphere, before its hatch opened with mechanical precision. "What have we here?" Gohan murmured, peering inside. Silver eyes met his. The infant didn't cry, didn't wail or thrash as most babies might after such a journey. Instead, he observed Gohan with an unnatural stillness, tiny face serene beneath a wild crown of black hair. When the old man reached in, the child's tail unfurled and his tiny body adjusted with fluid grace to be lifted. "You're a strange little one," Gohan said, cradling the naked infant. "Where did you come from?" The heavens themselves. The baby's eyes caught the fading sunlight, flashing mercury bright before settling into a more natural dark hue. Gohan nearly dropped him in surprise. "I must be seeing things in my old age," he chuckled nervously, wrapping the child in his outer tunic. "Come along then. Can't leave you out here for the mountain cats." As they ascended from the crater, neither noticed the pod's systems activating one final protocol. A transmission beamed briefly skyward, confirmation of landing and deployment, before the pod's power cell died completely. Across vast interstellar distances, the signal reached its destination. On a dying planet where red skies boiled with energy, ASC. Scientist stood before monitoring equipment, confirming reception. "The child has arrived," he informed his companion, a towering warrior with battle-scarred armor. "Kakarot will fulfill his purpose," the warrior grunted. "When he transforms under the full moon, that pathetic world will be prepared for our arrival." The scientist hesitated, checking additional readings. "There's something unusual in his biometric data. An anomaly." His words vanished in white light as the planet convulsed and shattered, taking with it an entire civilization, and any knowledge of what made the infant called Kakarot different from others of his kind. 3 days passed before the baby made a sound. Gohan had fashioned a crib from bamboo and soft grasses, set near the fire in his small mountain home. He'd attempted feeding the child, who accepted sustenance with the same eerie calm that characterized his every moment. No tears, no fussing, only those observant eyes tracking Gohan's movements with impossible awareness. On the third evening, as mountain winds howled outside the sturdy hut, the child finally vocalized. It wasn't a cry, but a laugh, bright and spontaneous, as Gohan performed his evening martial arts kata. The old master paused mid-form, startled by the sound. "You like that, do you?" Gohan smiled, completing a sweeping circular motion with his arms. The baby's eyes widened, reflecting the fire's light with that peculiar silver sheen Gohan had glimpsed before. Tiny hands reached upward, fingers spreading then curling in a crude mimicry of Gohan's movement. "Impossible," the old man whispered. He performed another technique, a defensive block followed by palm strike. Again, the child's arms moved, not with an infant's uncoordinated flailing but with deliberate, if simplistic, imitation. Gohan approached the crib slowly, heart racing. "What are you?" he asked softly, reaching down to touch the boy's forehead. The moment his finger made contact, the child's hand shot up, catching Gohan's weathered digit with startling precision. The grip was gentle but showed coordination no infant should possess. The silver gleam in his eyes intensified, then faded again to normal darkness. Gohan extracted his finger carefully, mind racing with implications. Throughout his life, he had heard legends of divine beings walking among mortals, of children born with extraordinary gifts. Never had he expected to encounter such a phenomenon personally. You need a name, he decided, choosing to embrace rather than fear this strange child. I'll call you Goku, son Goku. The baby Goku smiled as if approving his new identity. By the time Goku reached his first year, Gohan had abandoned any pretense that his adopted grandson was ordinary. The boy walked at 5 months, with the balance of a seasoned martial artist. By 7 months, he could mimic Gohan's fundamental kata with disturbing accuracy. At 10 months, Goku had yet to speak, but his physical intelligence bordered on supernatural. Your form is becoming sloppy, Gohan joked one morning, watching Goku perform a spinning kick that would challenge students 4 times his age. The toddler paused, head tilting in confusion. His tail, which Gohan had decided was simply another aspect of his extraordinary nature, swished inquisitively behind him. Like this, the old master demonstrated, executing the kick with perfect technique refined through decades of practice. Goku observed, silver momentarily flashing across his irises. When he repeated the movement, it was flawless, not a child's approximation of adult movement. But the technique itself, miniaturized in his tiny body. Gohan sank onto a nearby stump, unnerved. Goku, how do you do that? The boy approached, placing a small hand on Gohan's knee. His eyes held questions he couldn't yet verbalize, but his touch conveyed affection that reassured the old man. Whatever this child was, his heart seemed pure. Their peaceful existence changed on the night of the harvest moon. Gohan had been teaching Goku to fish in the mountain stream, delighting in the boy's methodical approach. Unlike other children who might splash impatiently, Goku would stand motionless in the shallows. Hands poised above the water until, with lightning precision, he would snatch a fish too slow to evade his reflexes. As dusk approached, they headed home with their catch. The full moon rose early, painting the forest path with silver light that filtered through autumn leaves. Beautiful, isn't it? Gohan said, shifting their dinner to one shoulder while gesturing skyward. The harvest moon brings abundance before winters. He turned to find Goku frozen mid-step, face upturned toward the celestial body. The boy's eyes had gone completely silver, pupils dilated to consume the iris entirely. His tiny body trembled violently. Goku. Alarm shot through Gohan's voice. What's wrong? A growl emerged from the child's throat, primal, unlike any sound he'd made before. His tail lashed behind him with increasing agitation as his small frame began to contort. Gohan dropped their catch, rushing to kneel before the boy. Goku, look at me, not the moon. The child's eyes remained fixated skyward, his body shuddering more violently. But instead of the transformation taking hold, instead of the monstrous metamorphosis beginning, silver light erupted from Goku's skin, enveloping him in luminescent energy. The growling stopped, the trembling ceased. When the light receded, Goku stood unnaturally still, eyes now radiating pure silver. His wild hair lifted slightly as though suspended in invisible currents, silver energy crackling along its edges. When he moved, stepping toward Gohan, it was with fluid grace that seemed to flow around natural laws rather than obey them. Goku. Gohan stammered, martial artist's instincts screaming danger despite coming from his beloved grandchild. The boy cocked his head, recognition flickering across his transformed features. His mouth opened, forming his first word with perfect clarity. Grandpa. The silver aura intensified briefly, then collapsed inward, returning Goku to his normal appearance. He swayed, exhausted, falling forward into Gohan's waiting arms. That night, as the child slept more deeply than Gohan had ever witnessed, the old master sat contemplating by candlelight. Whatever power had manifested in Goku seemed to have protected him from another transformation, one potentially more dangerous. Gohan resolved to document everything, to prepare for future occurrences, and most importantly, to help the extraordinary child harness his gifts rather than be controlled by them. Outside, unnoticed by either human or transformed Saiyan, a figure retreated into the shadows of the bamboo forest. Slender fingers noted coordinates on an advanced device unlike anything found on Earth, while eyes sharp with scholarly interest observed the humble hut. Fascinating, Zara whispered to herself. Celestial archaeology suddenly more complicated than anticipated. A Saiyan child with silver autonomy. The department will never believe this. 4 years passed in relative peace, NCTUATED by Goku's accelerating development. The boy spoke rarely but precisely, preferring physical expression to verbal communication. His movements had developed a quality Gohan struggled to describe. As though Goku inhabited a slightly different relationship with time and space than everyone else. Again, Gohan instructed, circling his now 5-year-old grandson in the clearing they used for training. Goku stood motionless at the center, eyes closed, tail perfectly still behind him. Gohan had fashioned 8 targets from hollow bamboo, suspended at different heights around the clearing. Each contained a small bell that would ring if struck correctly. The old master clapped once, sharply. Goku's eyes opened. Normal dark brown, no silver. He moved. To call it movement seemed inadequate. The boy flowed across the clearing like water finding the path of least resistance. Each strike connected perfectly, producing 8 distinct rings in such rapid succession they nearly formed a single harmonic note. Not a single wasted motion, no hesitation between targets, no recovery needed between strikes. 7.3 seconds, Gohan announced, looking at his timing device with mixed pride and concern. 3 seconds faster than yesterday. Goku returned to the center, expression thoughtful. I was slow on the 7th target, he said quietly. No human could have perceived that, Gohan chuckled, tousling the boy's wild hair. You're being too hard on yourself. A slight frown crossed Goku's features. Not human, he said, tail curling questioningly. The statement caught Gohan off guard. They had never explicitly discussed Goku's origins, though the boy clearly understood his differences from others. We don't know what you are, Gohan said honestly, kneeling to meet the child's eyes. But whatever power you possess is a gift to be respected and mastered. Remember our first rule, strength protects, Goku recited solemnly. It never harms the innocent. Good boy, Gohan smiled, rising stiffly. Now help your old grandpa gather firewood. I feel a storm approaching. Goku's head tilted, senses extending. 3 hours away, western approach, heavy rainfall. Gohan had long since stopped questioning such pronouncements. They were invariably accurate. As they gathered wood together, Goku suddenly froze, head snapping toward the forest's eastern edge. His eyes narrowed, nostrils flaring. Someone's watching, he whispered, dropping his bundle of sticks. Not animal. Before Gohan could respond, Goku was moving, silver flickers racing across his SK. As he disappeared into the underbrush with frightening speed. Cursing his aging joints, the old master followed as quickly as possible, calling for his grandson to wait. By the time Gohan caught up, Goku stood in a small clearing. Confronting a woman unlike any the old master had seen in his isolated existence. Tall and slender, with copper-toned skin and strange markings adorning her temples. She wore fitted garments of unfamiliar material that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Most striking were her eyes, amber with vertical pupils that marked her as definitively non-human. Fascinating, the woman said, observing Goku without fear despite the silver energy crackling intermittently across the boy's skin. You can sense observation without visual or auditory cues. True perpetual autonomy already developing at this age. Who are you? Gohan demanded, placing himself partially between the stranger and his grandson. What do you want with Goku? The woman straightened, smoothing her expression into something more diplomatic. My apologies for the intrusion. I'm Zara, xenobiological archaeologist specializing in extinct warrior cultures. She gestured toward Goku with a device resembling a stylus. I've been tracking anomalous energy signatures across this sector when I detected something impossible, silver autonomy in a Saiyan child. Saiyan, Gohan repeated, he unfamiliar term settling heavily between them. His species, Zara clarified, expression softening at Gohan's confusion. You didn't know. The tail is characteristic. They're a warrior race from, she paused, recalibrating her approach. From very far away, extremely powerful, but this one is unique. Different. Goku's silver energy receded as curiosity overcame wariness. He stepped forward despite Gohan's protective arm. "You know what I am?" he asked, voice small but precise. Zara knelt, bringing herself to his eye level with fluid grace that matched Goku's own preternatural movement. "I know what your people were," she said carefully, "but you're something else entirely. Something that shouldn't be possible." "Is that bad?" Genuine concern flashed across Goku's features. "Not bad," Zara assured him, amber eyes warming. "Extraordinary. You move with silver autonomy, what some cultures call ultra instinct, a state even gods struggle to achieve. Yet it comes to you naturally, especially when the moon is full." Gohan's wariness increased. "You've been watching us for years." "Observing," Zara corrected, standing to address him directly. "My work requires minimal interference." However, her expression grew troubled. "Others have detected his energy signature. Less academic types. The power this child possesses could destabilize agreements between realms if misused." "Are we in danger?" Gohan asked bluntly. "Not immediately," she replied with equal frankness. "But eventually, yes. His power will continue growing, becoming harder to conceal." She hesitated, then added, "I can help prepare him, teach him to control the silver state rather than merely experience it." Before Gohan could respond, thunder rolled across distant mountains, the storm approaching faster than anticipated. Zara glanced skyward, making a quick calculation. "Consider my offer," she said, pressing a small crystalline object into Gohan's palm. "If you decide to accept my help, activate this. I'll return." To Goku, she added with surprising gentleness, "You're not alone, little one. There are others with gifts across the cosmos. You could become something remarkable." With that, she retreated into the forest, her form seeming to bend light around her until she vanished completely. Goku stared after her, expression unreadable. "Grandpa," he finally said, "she smelled like stars." The crystal remained on Gohan's shelf for months, untouched but not forgotten. He watched Goku with renewed perspective, recognizing alien heritage in features he'd grown to love. The boy's training continued, his abilities expanding exponentially once given context. Knowing he was Saiyan, whatever that meant beyond Zara's limited explanation, seemed to unlock something in Goku's development. Winter settled over the mountains, bringing heavy snowfall that transformed their forest home into a crystalline wonderland. Goku delighted in the season, his enhanced physiology untroubled by tempera. Churish that required Gohan to huddle near their hearth. "Grandpa, watch," the boy called one crisp morning, performing a complex aerial maneuver that launched him 30 feet above the snowdrifts below, re-landing with barely a disturbance in the powder. Gohan applauded dutifully, even his concern gnawed at him. Each week brought new abilities, new manifestations of power that increasingly outstripped his capacity to guide. The silver energy, this ultra instinct, Zara had named, appeared more frequently now, especially during training. Decision crystallized within the old master's heart. That evening, he retrieved the communication device from his shelf. "Goku," he called softly to the boy meditating near the fire. "I believe it's time we learned more about your heritage, and this power you possess." The child opened eyes momentarily flecked with silver. "You're going to call the Star Woman?" Gohan nodded, turning the crystal between weathered fingers. "Her knowledge exceeds mine. I've taught you everything I can about martial arts, but this." He gestured to the silver energy occasionally flickering across Goku's skin. "This requires different wisdom." Without waiting for further discussion, Gohan pressed the activation point on the crystal. It hummed softly, emitting a pale blue glow that intensified rhythmically. 3 days later, Zara arrived during a blizzard, materially. Zing at their door as though stepping through an invisible portal. Snow clung to her shoulders but melted instantly, evaporating into steam that wreathed her form momentarily. "You decided," she stated simply, amber eyes taking in the modest hut with scientific curiosity. Gohan nodded, ushering her inside where Goku sat cross-legged before the fire, watching her with unblinking intensity. "Your energy signature has grown substantially," she noted, removing instruments from a small satchel at her hip. "The silver state manifests more frequently." Goku nodded solemnly. "When I fight, when I'm in danger, when I dream." This last admission clearly intrigued Zara, who knelt beside him with newfound interest. You dream in Ultra Instinct. Tell me about these dreams. The boy's expression grew distant. People with tails like mine. A red sky. Fire everywhere. His voice dropped lower. Sometimes I'm fighting beings made of shadow. Sometimes I'm protecting people I don't know yet. Zara and Gohan exchanged concerned glances. Prophetic resonance, she murmured, almost to herself. Unexpected in one so young. To Gohan, she explained, some wielders of divine energy can perceive potential futures or parallel timelines. It's exceedingly rare in mortals. Is he in danger? Gohan asked directly. Zara considered carefully before answering. All power invites danger. But helping I.M. control this ability will mitigate the risks. She focused on Goku. I can teach you to direct the silver energy rather than merely respond to it. Would you like that? The boy's dark eyes met hers steadily. Will it help me protect Grandpa? Something softened in Zara's clinical demeanor. Yes, little warrior. That and much more. Thus began Goku's dual education. Each morning continued with Gohan's martial arts instruction. Foundation for disciplined movement and ethical combat. Afternoons brought Zara's cosmic knowledge, lessons in energy manipulation, dimensional awareness, and the high story of beings who had mastered Ultra Instinct throughout the multiverse. The Silver State, she explained one spring afternoon as cherry blossoms drifted around their training area, is fundamentally different from ordinary combat awareness. Normal fighters think, then act. Even masters who act instinctively still process information sequentially. But Ultra Instinct separates consciousness from action entirely. Goku, now approaching his 6th birthday, absorbed the explanation while perfectly balancing on one finger atop a narrow bamboo pole. Is that why everything slows down when the silver comes? Precisely. Zara confirmed. Your body responds to threats before your mind processes them. With proper training, you'll maintain consciousness during these episodes instead of the fugue state you currently experience. Gohan watched these sessions with mixed emotions, pride in his grandson's progress, sorrow at the inevitable path unfolding before them. Goku was destined for summit, hing beyond their peaceful mountain existence. The old master could only hope his moral teachings would balance the cosmic power the boy wielded so effortlessly. The limitation, Zara continued her lesson, circling Goku's balanced form. As emotional activation, currently, your Ultra Instinct triggers primarily through danger or extreme stress. Advanced practitioners achieve the state through perfect mental serenity instead. Like water, Goku suggested, eyes closed in concentration. Exactly like water, Zara smiled, genuinely impressed by the child's intuitive understanding. Neither resisting nor yielding, simply being. Later that evening, as Goku slept deeply after intense training, Zara shared concerns with Gohan over tea. His development exceeds all precedent, she admitted, amber eyes reflecting firelight. At this rate, by adolescence, he'll surpass most cosmic entities in raw ability. Is that dangerous? Gohan asked, already knowing the answer. Catastrophically, she confirmed, voice low. The multiverse maintains balance through carefully distributed power. A mortal child wielding divine energy disrupts fundamental cosmic law. She hesitated, then added, some will seek to eliminate the anomaly. Others will attempt to control or exploit it. He's a boy, not an anomaly, Gohan said sharply. Zara's expression softened with unexpected compassion. To you and me, yes. But to cosmic hierarchies, he represents either existential threat or unprecedented opportunity. She sipped her tea thoughtfully. There's something else. His Saiyan heritage. You've mentioned his people before but shared little. With reason, Zara sighed. Saiyans were a warrior race of unparalleled battle prowess and equally unparalleled capacity for violence. Planet killers, world conquerors. Their civilization was reportedly destroyed, but survivors have been documented continuing their warlike traditions. Horror crossed Gohan's weathered features. And Goku is nothing like them, Zara interrupted firmly. Whether through your influence or the Ultra Instinct itself, his natural Saiyan aggression has been channeled into something more balanced. But his heritage cannot be ignored, especially concerning the full moon. The transformation you mentioned before. Zara nodded gravely. Saiyans possess the ability to transform into giant primal beings under full moonlight, increasing their power tenfold but surrendering conscious control. Somehow, Goku's Ultra Instinct intervenes during these moments, preventing the change but triggering Silver State instead. Gohan absorbed this information solemnly. What can we do? Continue as we have been, Zara advised. Your moral guidance balances my technical instruction. Together, we might shape him into something never before seen, a being of divine power with human compassion. Her expression darkened slightly, but we must prepare him for inevitable confrontation. The day will come when others sense his energy signature and investigate. Neither realized how prophetic these words would prove, nor how soon. Autumn painted the mountains in crimson and gold when the first hunter came. Goku, nearly 7 now, detected the approach minutes before any physical signs manifested. His head snapped up from the stream where he'd been fishing, eyes instantly bleeding silver. "Grandpa," he called, voice unnaturally calm. "Something's coming. Not human, not friendly." Gohan emerged from their hut, staff in hand. Zara, who had been demonstrating energy manipulation techniques, immediately activated devices from her satchel. "Void signature," she confirmed grimly, amber eyes narrowing at readings. "Dimensional Hunter. Class 3 at minimum. Target," Gohan demanded. Zara's gaze flicked to Goku. "What else?" The boy stood perfectly still, silver energy cascading around him like water. Unlike his earlier manifestations of Ultra Instinct, he remained fully conscious, eyes alert and focused. "I can feel it," he said softly. "Tearing through realms to reach this one. We've prepared for this," Zara reminded him, activating a defensive perimeter around their clearing with crystalline markers. "Remember your training. Don't engage directly." The air split open 20 yards from their position, not a natural portal but a jagged wound in reality itself. Through this dimensional fract, Yor emerged a being of nightmare composition, vaguely humanoid but composed of shifting shadows that never settled into fixed form. Where a face might exist, only a void punctuated by crimson sensor organs glowed with malevolent purpose. "Subject located," it rasped in fractured language, voice simultaneously too high and too low for human vocal range. "Unauthorized divine signature confirmed. Extraction protocol initiated." Gohan positioned himself protectively before Goku, staff held in seasoned combat stance. "You are not welcome here. Leave immediately." The hunter's form expanded, tendrils of void matter lashing outward. "Irrelevant organic. Step aside or be nullified." "Careful," Zara warned, her own weapons humming to life, sleek devices that bent light around her arms. "It's a dimensional enforcer. They perceive divine energy in mortal vessels as cosmic contamination." The hunter surged forward with impossible speed, shadow mass coalescing into bladed appendages. Gohan met the charge with centuries-old martial technique, his staff striking with precision born from lifelong discipline. The blow connected, disrupting the hunter's form momentarily. Resistance noted, the creature hissed. Escalation authorized. What followed was combat beyond human comprehension. The hunter's form separated into multiple attack vectors, each functioning independently while maintaining collective consciousness. Gohan's mastery kept him alive where lesser fighters would have fallen instantly, his movements anticipating attacks through decades of training. Zara provided supporting fire, her weapons emitting pulses that temporarily solidified the hunter's shadow matter into vulnerable states. "Goku," she called between blasts, "remember the containment technique." The boy nodded, silver energy intensifying around him. His hands moved through precise gestures Zara had taught him, cosmic mathematics translated into physical form. The air between his palms began to warp, creating a dimensional pocket designed to trap extra-dimensional entities. The hunter sensed the building technique, all attention suddenly focused on Goku. Priority target deploying countermeasures. Maximum response authorized. Shadow tendrils abandoned their assault on Gohan and Zara, converging into a concentrated spear aimed directly at Goku's chest. Time seemed to slow as multiple events converged. Goku's containment technique reached critical threshold, silver energy forming a perfect dimensional trap. The hunter's shadow spear closed the distance with reality-bending speed. And Gohan, brave, mortal Gohan, threw himself into the path of the attack. The void matter spear punched through the old master's chest with terrible efficiency. His weathered body crumpled, blood blossoming across simple training clothes. His last conscious action was pushing the containment orb from Goku's hands toward the hunter. "Grandpa," Goku's scream transcended normal sound, rippling with silver energy that distorted reality around him. The containment orb struck the hunter, expanding instantly to engulf the creature in dimensional barriers. It struggled against the technique, void matter writhing against silver constraints. Countermeasures failing, it rasped, sensor organs flaring brighter. Subject power exceeding parameters. Retreat protocol. Its final words vanished as Goku's Unlia shed power overwhelmed the containment field, silver energy no longer flowing but exploding outward in concentric waves. The hunter's form compressed, then shattered into countless shadow fragments that dissipated into nothingness. Silence descended on the clearing, broken only by Goku's ragged breathing as he knelt beside his grandfather's fallen form. "Grandpa," he whispered, silver receding from his eyes to reveal tears. "Please." Quote. Gohan's hand weakly found the boy's cheek. "Goku," he managed, voice fading. "Remember our rule. Strength protects," Goku repeated, tears falling onto the old man's chest. "It never harms the innocent." "Good boy." Gohan smiled faintly. "You'll meet others, like you someday. Not alone." His hand fell away, final breath escaping in a peaceful sigh. The greatest martial artist of his generation passed from the world, not in grand tournament or legendary duel, but protecting a child he had come to love as his own. Zara approached slowly, her own injuries momentarily forgotten. She placed a gentle hand on Goku's shoulder, amber eyes solemn with shared grief. "He died with honor," she said softly, "protecting what he loved most." Goku didn't respond immediately, his small frame unnaturally still beside his grandfather's body. When he finally looked up, his eyes held neither silver energy nor childlike innocence, only resolved purpose beyond his years. "There will be others," he stated rather than asked. "More hunters." Zara nodded grimly. "That one was merely the first to locate your energy signature. Others will follow. Stronger ones. Then I need to be stronger too." Goku rose slowly, shoulders straight despite the weight suddenly placed upon them. "Teach me everything, Zara. Not just control, everything." The Xenoarch, Eologist regarded the child carefully, this impossible being with divine power and human heart, forged in both cosmic energy and human compassion. In this moment of grief and determination, she glimpsed the warrior he would become. "We'll begin tomorrow," she agreed softly, "after we honor him properly." They buried Gohan on the mountainside overlooking the valley, marking his resting place with stones arranged in the symbol for harmony, the first technique he had taught his extraordinary grandson. Goku stood silent throughout the ceremony, silver occasionally flickering across his irises as emotions threatened to overwhelm his control. As twilight painted the sky in deepening purples, Goku finally spoke again. "I'm going to leave the mountain," he decided, young voice firm with conviction. "There are others out there, people who need protection from things like that hunter. People who don't understand what's coming." Zara studied him thoughtfully. "You're very young to begin such a journey. Age doesn't matter." Goku replied simply. "Strength does. Purpose does." His tail curled determinedly behind him. "Grandpa protected me. Now I'll protect others." As stars appeared over the same stars that had witnessed his arrival in a mysterious pod years earlier, Son Goku made his first independent decision. With silver flickering momentarily in his dark eyes, the child who would reshaped cosmic destiny looked toward the horizon with unwavering resolve. "Tomorrow," he said quietly, "we go down the mountain." In that moment, with grief still fresh and purpose newly forged, he journey of the silver-eyed Saiyan truly began. Chapter 1 End Chapter 2, Awakening Divinity. 8 years transformed the mountain child into something extraordinary. 16-year-old Goku moved rough the bustling marketplace with uncomfortable awareness, his senses cataloging hundreds of details simultaneously, heartbeats of merchants haggling over silk, a pickpocket's fingers twitching 3 stalls ahead. The subtle weight shift of a martial artist recognizing another predator in their midst. His tall frame drew glances, powerful musculature evident despite loose indigo training clothes. The tail that once swished freely behind him now remained wrapped securely around his waist, a concession to the stares it otherwise attracted. 2 pounds of rice and those persimmons, he told the vendor. Voice carrying the particular calm of someone perpetually balanced between worlds. "You're new here," the old woman noted, weathered hands measuring rice with practiced efficiency. Coming for the tournament. Goku nodded once, silver momentarily flickering across dark irises before vanishing. Is it open to anyone? Anyone brave or foolish enough? She chuckled, scrutinizing him with unexpected intensity. You've got the look of a fighter, but the Thunder School boys won't make it easy on outsiders. They've won 5 years running. I'm not concerned with winning, Goku replied simply. Though this wasn't entirely true. Testing his abilities against skilled opponents without revealing his true nature, that was the victory he sought. The woman snorted disbelievingly. That's W. Hat they all say until the prize money's mentioned. 10,000 zeni could change a young man's fortunes. Goku accepted his purchases with a slight bow. Money meant little to him. Zara's cosmic connections had ensured financial concerns never hindered his training or travels. 8 years of wandering Earth's remote regions had been funded by technologies and resources beyond human comprehension. When does registration close? He asked. Sunset. Arena's north of town. Can't miss it. She squinted at him speculatively. What school do you represent? A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Mountain style. As Goku navigated away through the crowd, the old woman watched his retreating form with narrowed eyes, noting how people unconsciously shifted from his path without realizing they'd done so. When he disappeared from view, she touched a concealed pendant beneath her garments, whispering, Celestial Observer Keter reporting anomalous energy signature. Confirmation requested on Say, and presence at North Province Tournament. The arena impressed through sheer scale rather than architectural refinement. A massive earthen bowl carved into hillside bedrock, surrounded by stone bleachers accommodating thousands. Registration tables lined the northern entrance where competitors from various disciplines gathered in clusters of matching uniforms and shared techniques. Name and school, the administrator asked without looking up from his ledger. Son Goku. Independent study. The man's brush paused. Independent. No master to vouch for your training. My grandfather taught me, Goku replied. Memories of Gohan's patient instruction surfacing briefly. He passed some years ago. HMPH. Verification official will need to assess basic competence before entry. He gestu. Read toward a secondary area where a burly man observed potential entrants performing fundamental techniques. Goku nodded acknowledgement and moved toward the verification station, passing clusters of competitors whose conversations halted momentarily to assess the newcomer. Most dismissed him almost immediately, another country fighter with delusions of grandeur. Only one group maintained their tiny, black uniformed students emblazoned with stylized lightning bolts. Thunder School sending scouts already. The verification official grunted when Goku approached. Bit desperate this year, aren't they? I'm unaffiliated, Goku corrected. The man's skepticism deepened. Independent. Let's see your horse stance then. Goku complied, assuming the fundamental posture with precise muscle control that made the basic stance something extraordinary, a perfect expression of balanced power that seasoned masters might spend decades perfecting. The official's expression shifted from boredom to surprise. Now middle guard to forward striking position, 3 repetitions. Again, Goku performed the simple transition with movement quality that transcended technique. His body didn't merely change positions. It flowed between states with efficiency that eliminated microseconds of wasted energy. The official straightened, suddenly attentive. Final test. Demonstrate your strongest striking technique against the practice dummy. Multiple competitors had paused their own preparations to observe the assessment. Goku felt their attention like pressure against his skin, their expectation a tangible force seeking something spectacular. Instead, he approached the reinforced dummy with measured steps, assumed a simple forward stance, and delivered a single straight punch with perfect form. The practice dummy, designed to absorb tournament-level strikes without damage, shattered into fragments. Silence descended on the registration area. Application accepted, the official stated flatly, gesturing for someone to clean the destroyed equipment. Preliminary round begins at dawn. Draw your bracket position. As Goku selected his tournament number from the offered box, whispers erupted among observing fighters. The Thunder School contingent conferred with increasing urgency, one member detaching to approach their master seated in privileged position overlooking the arena. Unperturbed, Goku secured his participant badge and exited the registration area, sensing multiple gazes tracking his movement. One presence separated from the crowd to follow him, not threatening but intentional in its pursuit. Without breaking stride, he turned down a less populated side street, then stopped in a small courtyard featuring a stone fountain. "You can approach directly," he called without turning. "I don't appreciate being stalked." Footsteps emerged from shadow, deliberately audible now that concealment was abandoned. "Most competitors wouldn't have noticed me," a female voice observed, accent unfamiliar to Goku's extensive travels. "Especially given how carefully I masked my presence." He turned to face his pursuer and momentarily froze. The woman stood Goku's height, unusual for females of any region he'd encountered, with powerful athletic build evident beneath fitted garments of unfamiliar design. Her skin held amber undertones complementing jet black hair styled in ella. Borate braids interwoven with metallic ornaments. Most striking were her eyes, dark violet irises surrounding pupils that contracted vertically like a predator's. "You're not from this world," Goku stated rather than asked, body instinctively shifting to neutral defensive posture. The woman smiled, revealing slightly pointed canines. "Neither are you." Silver eyes. Tension crystallized between hem as Goku processed the implications of her knowledge. His hands remained relaxed at his sides, but silver energy flickered momentarily across his fingertips. "What do you want?" "To satisfy curiosity," she replied, circling slowly to study him from different angles. Her movement held the same liquid quality as his own, economy of motion that screamed combat mastery to his trained senses. "When word reached my dimension that a Saiyan wielded divine automation without training, I found the claim improbable." "Divine automation, ultra instinct," she clarified. "The silver state, some CALL it perfect movement or autonomous mastery." Her expression grew speculative. "You don't even know what you possess, do you?" Before Goku could respond, the woman closed distance with blinding speed, launching a strike toward his solar plexus. His body reacted without conscious direction, torso shifting precisely the minimum distance required to avoid contact while his own counterstrike deployed simultaneously. She evaded with similar preternatural awareness, her form seeming to flow around his attack rather than actively dodge. For 3 heartbeats, they exchanged techniques faster than human perception could track. Neither landing effective strikes but both gathering crucial data about their opponent. Then, as abruptly as it began, she disengaged, satisfaction evident in her violet eyes. "Fascinating. Untrained but undeniably authentic. Your body moves before thought intervenes." Goku maintained combat readiness, studying her with newfound intensity. "You recognize the silver energy. You've seen it before. In my dimension, warriors train lifetimes pursuing what apparently comes to you naturally," she confirmed, producing a small metallic emblem from her garments. "I am Kia, Royal Guardian of the Forgotten Realm and Champion of the Prismatic Tournament. I've fought beings from 17 dimensions and observed combat techniques from hundreds more." "Why are you here?" Goku pressed, unmoved by impressive titles. Kia tucked away her credential. "Initially, verification. Now, assessment." She gestured toward the tournament grounds visible above rooftops. "Tomorrow, W's event features the strongest fighters this realm produces. Pathetically inadequate for testing the limits of divine automation." "I'm not looking to test limits," Goku countered. "Just to compete without drawing attention." Laughter burst from Kia, genuine and unexpectedly melodious. "With those movements, you might as well enter the arena engulfed in flames." She sobered quickly. "But perhaps that's the point. You're trying to control it, aren't you? Using structured combat to develop conscious command over the autonomous response." The accuracy of her assessment surprised him. 8y. Years of training with and without Zara's guidance had focused precisely on that goal, maintaining awareness during ultra instinct rather than surrendering consciousness to the silver state. Kia interpreted his silence correctly. "I thought so. An admirable approach, though ultimately insufficient." She cocked her head, considering him with renewed interest. "Tell me, Silver Eyes, have you ever heard of the Temple of Autonomous Masters?" Quote, "No. It exists at the nexus point between dimensions, a repository of techniques developed by those who mastered divine automation across multiple realities." She produced a small crystalline object reminiscent of the communication device Zara had given Gohan years earlier. "After tomorrow's tournament, find me." If you're interested in real training, I can show you pathways between worlds. When Goku made no move to accept the offered crystal, Kia simply set it atop the fountain's edge. Your choice, of course. But remember, power like yours draws attention across dimensional boundaries. Some entities consider autonomous mastery in mortal vessels a cosmic violation. The Void Hunters, Goku said quietly, memories of his grandfather's sacrifice surfacing. Kia's expression shifted to one of genuine surprise. You've encountered them and survived. That explains much. She stepped backward, her form seeming to blur slightly at the edges. Until tomorrow, Son Goku. Show me what a Saiyan with silver eyes can do. Her body dissolved into prismatic light that bent sideways rather than upward or downward, leaving Goku alone with the crystal. Line communication device and far more questions than answers. Dawn arrived with unexpected atmospheric pressure, clouds hanging low over the tournament grounds as competitors assembled for preliminary rounds. Goku had spent the night in meditation rather than sleep, processing his encounter with the interdimensional warrior and preparing for the day's challenges. The crystalline communicator remained untouched in his belt pouch, its potential significance neither accepted nor rejected. Tournament officials organized 128 fighters into elimination brackets, each vict. Ori advancing competitors toward the 16-person final roster. Goku observed the proceedings with detached interest, noting fighting styles from provinces he'd visited during his years of wandering. The Thunder School dominated numerically with 32 entrants, their black uniforms creating visual islands throughout the assembly area. Fighters, attention! The chief official's voice carried across the arena. Preliminary rounds consist of single elimination matches. Victory by knockout, surrender, or ring out. Intentional killing results in disqualification and criminal prosecution. Standard rules, Goku noted. Identical to dozens of regional tournaments he'd observed without participating. This marked his first official competition, a calculated risk after years maintaining deliberate anonymity. Something about Kia's appearance suggested timing beyond coincidence. Cosmic ripples were converging around this unremarkable provincial event. First round competitors approached their designated rings. Goku moved toward his assigned area, conscious of eyes tracking his movement. The Thunder School master, a heavy-set man with calculating eyes, had positioned himself to observe Goku's match personally. More concerning was the weathered market woman from yesterday, now dressed in official tournament observer garb that couldn't quite disguise the ceremonial pendant visible beneath her collar. Celestial observer, Goku murmured to himself, recalling Zara's descriptions of cosmic bureaucracy that monitored dimensional anomalies. The tournament's significance expanded with each passing moment. His first opponent presented minimal challenge, a competent regional fighter using conventional techniques that Goku countered with deliberately ordinary responses. He constrained his movements to appear skilled but unexceptional, winning through superior positioning rather than overwhelming ability. Clean victory for participant Goku, the ring judge announced. Advanced to second elimination round. The pattern repeated through morning matches. Goku systematically limited his responses to each opponent's skill level, revealing nothing of his true capabilities while advancing with methodical efficiency. By midday, tournament officials announced the 16 finalists for afternoon championship rounds. Attention spectators and competitors, the announcer's voice echoed across now packed stands. Final rounds begin with ceremonial introductions. When called, finalists will demonstrate their school's signature technique before the assembled judges. Goku frowned slightly. This unexpected requirement would complicate his strategy of unremarkable advancement. The finalist demonstration would require something impressive enough to belong among champions without revealing his autonomous capabilities. One by one, finalists performed increasingly spectacular techniques. The Thunder School representatives demonstrated lightning-fast combination strikes that produced audible concussion waves. Provincial champions showcased regional specialties from boulder-shattering power techniques to acrobatic aerial sequences. Polite applause followed each demonstration until only Goku remained. Our final championship competitor, Son Goku, independent practitioner. He stepped onto the central platform, acutely aware of thousands of spectators, 14 resentful eliminated finalists, and at least 3 cosmic observers disguised among officials. Most importantly, he sensed Kia's presence in the uppermost stands, her violet eyes tracking his every movement with scientific interest. Goku closed his eyes briefly, centering himself. When they reopened, he began moving through the most basic kata Grandpa Gohan had taught him as a child, elementary sequences pr. Acted by beginners across martial disciplines. Murmurs of confusion rippled through the audience, spectators exchanging puzzled glances at this apparent mockery of the demonstration requirement. Then, with each successive movement, Goku increased execution precision exponentially. What began as simple technique transformed into something transcendent, movement so perfectly aligned with physical law that reality itself seemed to bend slightly around his form. He performed no spectacular jumps, broke no objects, generated no visible energy. Instead, he demonstrated the purest expression of fundamental movement, each position flowing into the next with mathematical perfection. Silence descended over the arena as knowledgeable observers recognized what they were witnessing. The Thunder Show. OL Master's expression transformed from skepticism to shock. The disguised celestial observers shifted forward in their seats. And in the upper stands, Kia smiled with genuine appreciation. When Goku completed the sequence and bowed to the judges, no applause followed, only stunned silence broken eventually by the tournament announcer clearing his throat. That concludes our finalist demonstrations. Championship matches begin in 30 minutes. As Goku exited the demonstration platform, the Thunder School Master intercepted him, profound respect having replaced earlier suspicion. Young man, that was the most perfect execution of fundamental principles I have ever witnessed, he said quietly. Who was your true master? No independent practitioner moves with such quality. My grandfather taught me the foundations. Goku answered honestly. Everything else comes naturally. The master studied him with narrowed eyes. No technique comes naturally, at that level. Not without. He stopped abruptly, reassessing Goku with newfound wariness. Be careful in your remaining matches. You've attracted significant attention. Before Goku could respond, the master returned to his students, issuing urgent instructions that sent several black uniformed competitors hurrying from the arena. The implications were clear. Goku's demonstration, despite containing no flashy techniques or power displays, had revealed too much to knowledgeable observers. Championship matches proceeded with increasing intensity as afternoon shadows lengthened across the arena. Goku maintained his strategy of minimal necessary technique, winning through precision and timing rather than overwhelming force. His quarterfinal and semifinal opponents, both Thunder School elites, fought with unexpected caution, their masters having apparently warned them about the deceptively simple-looking fighter. By sunset, only 2 competitors remained for the championship match, Goku and the Thunder School champion, a powerfully built woman whose techniques blended devastating strikes with unpredictable rhythm changes. Final match. Son Goku vs. Thunder School Master candidate Lyra, the announcer proclaimed to enthusiastic spectator response. Victory determines provincial champion and regional representative to the continental tournament. As Goku took his position, he noticed significant changes in the audience composition. Celestial observers had abandoned pretense, 6 robed figures now openly monitoring from privileged positions. More concerning were the subtle dimensional distortions forming, at the arena's periphery, microscopic fractures in reality that his years of training with Zara had taught him to recognize as precursors to interdimensional breaches. Something's coming, he murmured, silver flickering momentarily across his eyes. Begin, the official commanded, stepping clear of the championship ring. Lyra attacked with frightening commitment, her opening sequence designed to overwhelm through sheer offensive pressure. Goku responded with precise defensive movements, studying her patterns while calculating optimal counters. Unlike previous matches where he deliberately constrained his abilities, this opponent required genuine focus to overcome without revealing his silver state. You're holding back, Lyra noted during a momentary engagement pause, voice pitched for his ears alone. Our master warned us about you. Said you're not what you appear. I'm just here to compete, Goku responded calmly, evading her renewed attack sequence with economical movements. Liar, she hissed, frustration evident as another combination failed to penetrate his defense. No ordinary human moves like that. The exchange continued for several minutes, Lyra's techniques growing increasingly desperate as conventional approaches failed to penetrate Goku's perfect defensive positioning. Spectators sensed the unusual nature of the contest, a championship match where neither Our competitor appeared to land significant strikes, yet tension mounted with each exchange. The dimensional distortions at the arena's edge intensified, reality rippling visibly now as unseen forces rest against the boundary between worlds. The celestial observers noticed too, their attention dividing between the match and the developing anomalies. Only Kia remained focused exclusively on Goku, her violet eyes narrowing as she leaned forward in anticipation. The breaking point arrived unexpectedly. Lyra, recognizing conventional techniques would never succeed, abruptly shifted to her show. All's forbidden technique, a lightning-enhanced strike channeling electrical energy through specific meridian points. The attack carried potential lethality far exceeding tournament regulations. Serpent's lightning fang, she cried, fingertips crackling with generated electrical energy as she targeted Goku's cardiac meridian. Time slowed. Goku perceived the attack's trajectory, calculating its impact point and potential damage. Ordinary defensive movement would prove insufficient against the technique's penetrating electrical component. Conventional counterattacks would require striking Lyra with force that might cause permanent injury. In the microsecond available for decision, a third option emerged from the silver awareness constantly present beneath his conscious mind. He didn't evade, he didn't counter. Instead, as Lyra's lightning-enhanced strike reached his chest, Goku's hand moved with silver-tinged precision to intercept her wrist, redirecting the electrical energy through specific pressure points in her own arm. The lightning discharged harmlessly into the arena floor while simultaneously numbing her attacking limb through its meridian pathways. Impossible, Lyra gasped, staggering backward with useless arm dangling. You redirected the Fang technique without knowing the counter formation. Silver flickered across Goku's eyes, there and gone so quickly most obs. Arviers registered only a trick of fading sunlight. You should withdraw, he suggested quietly. That arm needs immediate meridian treatment or you risk permanent damage. Pride warred with wisdom in Lyra's expression before reality forced its conclusion. I concede the match, she announced formally, bowing with her functional arm. Victory to Son Goku, the official proclaimed. Provincial Chom, Pion and Continental Tournament representative. Applause erupted from spectators unaware of the technique's forbidden nature or the increasingly dangerous dimensional anomalies now visibly distorting air around the arena's periphery. The celestial observers had abandoned their seats entirely, moving to strategic positions while producing artifacts of obvious ceremonial significance. As official S approached with the championship medal and prize purse, reality fractured completely. A jagged tear opened in space 30 feet above the arena center, black energy crackling around its edges as Cediators screamed in confusion and terror. From this dimensional wound emerged 3 void hunters, their shadow matter bodies more substantial than the creature Goku had encountered as a child, bristling G with crystalline sensory organs and dimensional manipulation appendages. Divine energy contamination confirmed, their overlapping voices rasped across the arena. Extraction protocol authorized. Panic erupted as spectators fled toward exits, trampling one another in desperate retreat from the manifested cosmic horrors. Tournament officials froze in confusion while provincial security forces belatedly mobilized with weapons useless against interdimensional threats. Goku's stance shifted instantly to true combat readiness, silver energy manifesting visibly around his hands. Everybody out, he shouted to nearby officials. These entities target specific energy signatures. Clear the arena immediately. The celestial observers moved with practiced coordination, artifacts generating containment fields to protect retreating civilians. Their leader, the disguised market woman Goku had identified earlier, approached him with ceremonial instrument raised. Son Goku, by authority of the Dimensional Accord, we order you to submit to emergency energy suppression, she intoned formally. Your unregistered divine signature has breached containment protocols, attracting void entity attention to this protected realm. There's no time, Goku countered, tracking the hunters' movement patterns as they descended toward the arena floor. Those are Class 4 void hunters, not standard dimensional enforcement. They're not here for bureaucratic violations, they're here to extract and eliminate. The observer's expression hardened. You recognize void hunter classifications. Explain your knowledge immediately. Before Goku could respond, the lead hunter launched its first attack, a barrage of void matter projectiles targeting both Goku and the celestial observers with equal hostility. Silver energy erupted around Goku's form as Ultra Instinct engaged automatically, his body flowing between projectile trajectories while simultaneously pushing the nearest observer clear of the attack pattern. Questions later, he stated flatly, silver now visibly coating his irises. Focus on civilian evacuation. I'll handle the hunters. To her credit, the observer reassessed priorities instantly. Containment team prioritize civilian extraction, she commanded her colleagues. Secondary objective: dimensional breach closure. To Goku, she added grudgingly, try not to destroy the province. With that, the celestial observers redirected their artifacts toward evacuation coordination, leaving Goku facing 3 void hunters whose sensory organs tracked his every movement with predatory focus. Primary target isolation achieved, the lead hunter communicated. Commence extraction sequence. Their coordinated attack pattern demonstrated vastly superior tactical sophistication compared to the hunter Goku had encountered as a child. Shadow matter appendages reconfigured into offensive arrays optimized for capturing rather than killing, barbed tendrils, gravity manipulation fields, and dimensional anchor points designed to immobilize their target. Goku's silver-enhanced awareness expanded to encompass the entire battlefield, calculating optimal response patterns against the hunters' coordinated assault. Unlike previous manifestations of Ultra Instinct where consciousness receded behind autonomous action, Goku maintained complete awareness while the silver energy guided his movements, the culmination of 8 years' training since leaving the mountain. He flowed between attack vectors with mathematical precision, each movement simultaneously defensive and offensive. When void tendrils attempted capture, his counters severed the shadow matter connections. When gravity fields deployed to immobilize, he utilized their own force to launch devastating counters against the generating hunter. Target resistance exceeding calculated parameters, the lead hunter communicated to its companions. Implement consumption protocol. The 3 hunters suddenly converged, matter bodies merging into a single massive entity that towered 20 feet above the arena floor. This composite being pulsed with void energy that began actively consuming surrounding reality, concrete cracking. Metal structural supports warping as fundamental forces destabilized within its influence radius. Goku recognized the escalation pattern from Zara's interdimensional defense training. Void consumption state, he murmured, silver energy intensifying around his form. Conventional counters ineffective. From the rapidly emptying stands, Kia's voice carried clearly, silver eyes. They've manifested a dimensional anchor. Target the crystalline core or they'll drag this entire sector into the void. Goku's enhanced perception instantly identified the concealed core structure. Within the composite hunter's mass, a geometric arrangement of void crystals maintaining coherence between the merged entities. Destroying it would destabilize the hunter, but reaching it required pain. Treading concentrated void matter defenses designed specifically to repel divine energy. Standard Ultra Instinct wouldn't suffice. He needed complete manifestation, the perfected state he'd achieved only twice before under extreme duress. The silver energy surrounding Goku intensified dramatically, his hair lifting slightly as gravity itself seemed to waver around his form. When he exhaled, condensation crystallized in the air before him despite the warm evening temperature. Time perception altered fundamentally as his consciousness expanded to encompass dimensional awareness beyond physical reality. Full autonomous state achieved, Kia whispered from the stands, violet eyes wide with appreciation. Magnificent. What followed transcended conventional combat. Goku moved through reality, with silver afterimages trailing his form, each motion existing simultaneously across milliseconds of time flow. The composite void hunter deployed increasingly desperate defensive measures, dimensional barricades, time-dilated zones, gravity wells exceeding planetary strength, all bypassed through movements that worked with fundamental forces rather than against them. Reaching the crystalline core, Goku's silver-wreathed hand struck with perfect precision, not a power technique but the ideal application of force against the exact structural weakness. The void crystal matrix shattered with geometric precision, energy discharging in controlled sequence rather than catastrophic release. The composite hunter's form destabilized immediately, shadow matter losing coherence as the 3 entities separated involuntarily. Before they could reconstitute individual forms, Goku executed 3 consecutive strikes at precisely calculated points in their dissolution pattern, disrupting their dimensional coherence completely. Extraction failed. The lead hunter communicated as its form collapsed into non-existence. Target classification. Autonomous Master. Priority Omega. Dimensional alert initiated. The void entities dissipated entirely, leaving behind only crystalline fragments quickly dissolving into ordinary matter. The dimensional tear above the arena sealed itself as sustaining energies faded. Reality reknitting with visible ripple effects across the tournament grounds. Silence descended as the silver energy surrounding Goku gradually receded, his eyes returning to normal darkness. Around the arena, remaining spectators and officials stared in stunned disbelief at what they had witnessed, a display of power beyond human comprehension. The celestial observer approached cautiously, artifact held defensively before her. Son Goku, she began formally, by authority of the Dimensional Accord, you are hereby. Hold your proclamation, Observer Kita. Kia's voice interrupted as she descended from the stands. Violet eyes fixed on the celestial representative. This individual operates under prismatic tournament observation protocols. Your jurisdiction is superseded. Obs. Observer Kita's expression tightened with obvious displeasure. The Prismatic Confederation has no authority in this dimension. The Accord clearly states, Article 17, Subsection 9, Kia interrupted smoothly, producing an ornate credential that pulsed with unmistakable authority. Autonomous manifestations supersede standard jurisdictional boundaries when witnessed by qualified Confederation representatives. I am exercising direct authority as Royal Guardian. The observer examined Kia's credential with mounting frustration before reluctantly lowering her artifact. This violation will be reported to the Council. Unregistered divine signature manifestation requires. Will be handled through appropriate channels, Kia finished firmly. Your diligence is noted, Observer. With clear reluctance, Kita signaled her celestial colleagues, who discontinued their containment activities and departed with formal precision that failed to disguise their obvious indignation. As the asked observer vanished through a meticulously generated portal, Kia turned her full attention to Goku. Now that was worth crossing dimensions to witness, she said with genuine appreciation. Full autonomous manifestation against multiple void hunters without dimensional support structures. Even the prismatic archives contain few records of such achievement. Goku rolled his shoulders, releasing residual tension as silver energy dissipated completely from his system. They were targeting civilians. I had no choice. There's always choice, Kia countered, circling him analytically. You see, Ho's perfect execution over power maximization. Preservation over destruction. Fascinating prioritization for a Saiyan. Before their conversation could continue, reality distorted once more, not the jagged tear of void entities, but a precisely calibrated dimensional aperture through which stepped a familiar figure. Zara's copper skin and amber eyes had changed little in the years since Goku had seen her last. Though new markings adorned her temples and her previously sleek attire now featured ceremonial components suggesting advancement in her mysterious organization. I felt the disruption from 16 dimensions away, she said without preamble, amber eyes assessing the destruction around them before focusing on Goku with familiar clinical interest. Full manifestation, I assume. Complete autonomous state, Kia confirmed before Goku could respond. Against a Class 4 composite hunter, no less. Your protege has progressed impressively, Department Archaeologist. Zara's eyes narrowed at Kia's presence. Royal Guardian. The Prismatic Confederation involves itself in provincial tournaments now, or merely in my research subject. Former research subject, Kia corrected smoothly. The Confederation maintains interest in all autonomous manifestations, especially those occurring in beings with inappropriate physiological foundations. Inappropriate, Goku interrupted, frustration finally penetrating his post-combat calm. Would someone explain what's happening? Void hunters don't attack random tournaments without cause. The two-dimensional travelers exchanged significant glances before Zara sighed, gesturing toward the empty stands. Perhaps we should continue this conversation somewhere less conspicuous. Provincial authorities will return once they've verified the immediate danger has passed. Kia nodded agreement. I've secured temporary sanctuary in a local dimensional pocket. It should accommodate our discussion without attracting additional attention. With practiced ease, she activated a small device that expanded into a localized portal. The three stepped through into a space that defied conventional physics, seemingly small from outside OBS. Curvation but containing comfortable appointments within an area of impossible geometry where angles connected in ways that human mathematics couldn't describe. Dimensional engineering has advanced since my last field deployment, Zara noted with professional appreciation, examining the pocket reality's construction. Necessity driven by void incursions, Kia responded, materializing refreshments from concealed storage compartments. The Confederation has developed improved portable sanctuaries for field operatives in response to increasing hunter activities. Goku accepted offered nourish, meant while studying both women with heightened awareness. Years of training and exploration had taught him to recognize the careful dance of information exchange between dimensional entities, revealing select truths while concealing more significant knowledge. Explain the hunters, he prompted directly. They called me a primary target, with specific classification parameters. That suggests prior identification. Zara and Kia exchanged another meaningful glance before the archaeologist nodded slightly, ceding explanatory authority to the royal guardian. You've been classified in Dimensio Null registries since your first encounter with a void hunter, Kia began, violet eyes watching him carefully. Initially as an anomalous energy signature, with possible divine contamination. After today's full manifestation, that classification will upgrade to unauthorized autonomous master, with corresponding priority designation. What does that mean practically? It means, Zara interjected, that every void hunter in 17 dimensions now has your energy signature in its primary target registry. What happened today wasn't random, it was the first calculated extraction attempt fall. Owing years of monitoring and assessment, cold realization settled in Goku's stomach. The tournament was a trap. They waited until I manifested enough energy to confirm their target parameters. Precisely, Kia confirmed, though today's hunters were merely advanced scouts. The response to your full manifestation will be considerably more substantial. Goku absorbed this information with outward calm belying inner turmoil. 8 years of careful anonymity, training in Earth's most remote regions, and deliberate power suppression, rendered meaningless by a single provincial tournament. Worse, he had potentially endangered an entire population center through his presence alone. What happens now? He asked quietly. Zara placed a small device on the central table, activating a holograph. HIC display of interconnected dimensional pathways. Now we move to more secure territory. Earth lacks the dimensional shielding necessary to prevent further incursions, and the local celestial observe. Earths clearly lack capacity to handle void entities above Class 3. I'm not abandoning Earth, Goku stated flatly, silver momentarily flashing across his irises. If I've attracted these hunters here, my responsibility is to protect this world, not run to another. Noble but short-sighted, Kia countered. Earth remains largely classified as a developmental realm with minimal interdimensional significance. If you leave, Void Hunter protocols will designate it low priority once again. Staying guarantees escalating extraction attempts with corresponding collateral damage. Conflict played across Goku's features as he processed their logic against his ingrained sense of responsibility. Before he could respond, Zara activated a secondary display showing ancient pictographic sequences carved in stone. There's another consideration, she said quietly. The Temple of Autonomous Masters. Kia's violet eyes widened slightly. You know of it. I'm a xenoarchaeologist specializing in extinct warrior cultures. Zara replied with subtle emphasis. Of course I know the historical record of the first autonomous masters and their interdimensional sanctuary. Goku studied the display. D carvings, humanoid figures surrounded by silver energy performing techniques against shadowy opponents. Most striking were their eyes, represented by inlaid silver material that caught light with unnatural brilliance. These depict Ultra Instinct users, he noted, recognizing the distinctive postures and energy patterns from his own experience. The first mortal practitioners, Zara confirmed. Beings from various dimensions who manifested autonomous capabilities despite physiological limitations similar to yours. They established a sanctuary at the nexus of 17 dimensions where they could develop their abilities without disrupting cosmic hierarchies, or attracting void hunters, Kia added meaningfully. Goku's attention remained fixed on one particular carving, a figure with distinctive hair pattern remarkably similar to his own, surrounded by silver energy while facing multiple shadow entities. This one looks Saiyan. Zara finished for him. Yes, the historical wreck. Ord indicates one of the original temple founders came from your species, though conventional scholarship dismissed this as artistic misrepresentation. Until you, Kia interjected, studying Goku with renewed interest. A living Saiyan with natural autonomous capability changes historical interpretation significantly. The implications settled heavily across the dimensional pocket's impossible geometry. Goku had spent years believing himself unique, possibly the only being of his kind with his particular abilities. Now evidence suggested historical precedent, an entire temple of similarly gifted individuals who had faced comparable challenges. Where is this temple now? He asked. Zara and Kia exchanged yet another meaningful glance. Unknown, the archaeologist admitted. The historical record indicates the temple existed for several thousand years before disappearing approximately 3 millennia ago. Conventional theory suggests void entity consumption or dimensional collapse. Conventional theory is incomplete, Kia stated flatly. The Prismatic Confederation maintains certain records suggesting the temple still exists, merely phase shifted beyond standard dimensional access parameters. And you can find it? Goku pressed. Not precisely, Kia hedged. But with your energy signature as reference point and my Confederation access, we could potentially locate dimensional resonance patterns consistent with temple architecture. In other words, Zara clarified with evident skepticism, a theoretical search based on incomplete historical records and energy pattern matching of questionable reliability. Better than waiting for the next Void Hunter extraction team, Kia countered sharply. Their argument was interrupted by a subtle dimensional distortion, manifesting near the pocket reality's entrance. Unlike the violent tears created by Void Hunters, this disturbance had precise mathematical properties suggesting calculated intrusion by a skilled practitioner. Kia and Zara reacted instantly, producing defensive artifacts while positioning themselves between the distortion and Goku, a protective instinct he found both unnecessary and oddly touching. Before either could activate countermeasures, the distortion stabilized into a perfectly circular portal through which stepped a slender figure that immediately captured Goku's complete attention. The newcomer appeared female with humanoid proportions but definitely non-human origin. Her skin held the darkest black Goku had ever witnessed, not merely dark pigmentation but the absence of light itself. As though her physical form absorbed illumination rather than reflecting it. This darkness contrasted dramatically with silver-white hair floating around her head in defiance of gravity. Most captivating were her eyes, liquid mercury in color and substance, constantly shifting with subtle movement like actual flowing metal. Interference protocols initiated, she announced in voice that say, "E-med to emerge from multiple spatial positions simultaneously. Target location confirmed. Extraction commencing. Shadow Realm Assassin." Kia snarled, artifact flaring to life with defensive energy. "How did you penetrate my sanctuary parameters?" The assassin's mercury eyes shifted dismissively toward Kia. Prismatic configurations utilize standardized dimensional mathematics. Shadow Guild. Matriculation requires bypassing such elementary protections. Her attention returned to Goku, head tilting with analytical precision. Interesting. Physical parameters match target designation, but energy signature exceeds predicted limitations. Who sent you? Zara demanded, her own defensive posture suggesting unexpected combat capability beneath scholarly exterior. Irrelevant, the assassin replied flatly. Contract specifications require immediate target neutralization to prevent further dimensional anomalies. With blinding speed, she launched forward, movement unlike either Void Hunters or conventional martial artists. Her form seemed to exist at multiple points simultaneously, creating afterimage effects that even Goku's enhanced perception struggled to differentiate from actual physical presence. Silver energy erupted instinctively around his form as Ultra Instinct engaged, allowing him to evade the initial strike sequence that would have incapacitated ordinary opponents instantly. What followed was combat beyond conventional physics, the assassin's shadow substance body flowing around counterstrikes that should have connected while launching her own techniques from possible angles created through localized dimensional manipulation. Luna Guild techniques, Kia identified, attempting to provide support with her artifact's defensive capabilities. She's Manipula, Ting personal dimensional phase to attack from multiple timelines simultaneously. Goku adapted instantly to this information, Silver awareness expanding to encompass not just physical reality but potential dimensional variations. When the assassin's next attack sequence deployed, he struck not where her physical form appeared but where underlying dimensional constants required her to materialize between phase shifts. His counter connected with surprising effectiveness, disrupting her attack pattern and forcing momentary material coherence. Taking advantage of this brief vulnerability, Goku launched a precisely calculated strike sequence targeting specific dimensional anchor points within her shadow substance form. The assassin disengaged abruptly, Mercury eyes widening with what might have been surprise. Target demonstrates dimensional awareness beyond parameter estimates, she noted with clinical detachment despite now visible damage to her materialized form. Tactical reassessment required. Before she could implement whatever revised approach this reassessment suggested, Zara activated a previously concealed artifact that expanded rapidly into a containment field surrounding the assassin. Shadow Phase Disruption Matrix, the archaeologist explained with grim satisfaction. Specialized countermeasure for Luna Guild operatives. Trapped within the containment field, The assassin's form fluctuated between solid materialization and shadow substance as her dimensional manipulation abilities encountered specifically designed countermeasures. Her Mercury eyes fixed on Goku with unsettling intensity. Temporary containment merely delays contract fulfillment, she stated with absolute conviction. The anomaly must be neutralized to preserve dimensional stability. Who contracted you? Kia demanded again, artifact still humming with defensive energy. The guild operates exclusively through authorized channels. Something approximating amusement flickered across the assassin's features. Ignorance betrays your peripheral status, Guardian. The void convergence approaches. Conventional authorities fragment. New alliances form. Her Mercury gaze remained fixed on Goku. This one's existence accelerates the collapse sequence. The contract serves cosmic necessity, not political convenience. What convergence? Goku asked, silver energy receding as the immediate threat diminished. The assassin's expression shifted subtly, clinical assessment replaced by something approaching curiosity. You truly don't know what you are, she observed. Fascinating PSYC. Hological limitation given your obvious capability. Answer him, Zara commanded, containment field pulsing with increased intensity that clearly caused the assassin discomfort. After calculating momentary resistance, the shadow being relented. Dimensional convergence events occur cyclically throughout cosmic timestreams. The current cycle approaches critical threshold where void energies penetrate multiple reality barriers simultaneously. Under normal circumstances, dimensional hierarchies implement established containment protocols. But these aren't normal circumstances, Kia concluded, violet eyes narrowing. Because of him, because of what he represents, the assassin clarified. Autonomous capability in mortal vessels disrupts fundamental separation between divine and physical realms. The current anomaly, her Mercury eyes flicked meaningfully toward Goku, manifests unprecedented integration potential, creating cascade resonance across dimensional boundaries. Goku processed this information with outward calm belying inner turmoil. You're saying my existence weakens reality somehow? Not precisely, the assassin replied with unexpected precision. Your existence represents evolutionary possibility previously theoretical. Some cosmic entities perceive this as existential threat, others as fulfillment of ancient probability calculations. And which perspective hired you? Zara pressed. The assassin's liquid metal eyes shifted toward the archaeologist. Neutrality maintains contractual integrity. The guild accepts authorization from established dimensional authorities. Meaning someone with significant cosmic standing wants Goku eliminated, Kia translated grimly. Someone with access to Shadow Guild contract protocols. Silence descended over He-dimensional pocket as implications settled across its impossible geometry. Goku studied the contained assassin with heightened awareness, noting details his combat-focused perception had initially overlooked. The precision of her materialized form, the mathematical perfection of her dimensional phase techniques, and most significantly, the absence of malice in her clinical demeanor. You're following orders, he observed quietly. Not personal motivation. The assassin's Mercury gaze returned to him with renewed analytical interest. Contract fulfillment maintains cosmic balance. Personal motivation introduces inefficiency. Yet you're explaining rather than attacking, Goku continued, stepping closer to the containment field despite Zara and Kia's warning gestures. And your tempo, rare containment, statement suggests confidence in eventual escape. You could have continued fighting rather than allowing capture. For the first time, something approximating respect flickered across the assassin's features. Logical assessment. The containment matrix requires continuous energy application. Field stability diminishes with each fluctuation cycle. Escape becomes mathematically certain within 23 minutes. Unless you're transferred to more permanent containment before then, Kia countered, producing additional artifacts from dimensional storage. Unnecessary escalation, Goku interrupted. Silver briefly flickering across his irises as decision crystallized within him. Release her. What? Zara and Kia exclaimed simultaneously. The assassin's mercury eyes widened marginally, the first genuine surprise she had demonstrated. She was following orders based on incomplete information, Goku explained, maintaining eye contact with the shadow being. Now she has direct observational data contradicting her contract parameters. Understanding dawned across Zara's features. You're appealing to the guild's evidential override protocols. Clever, the assassin acknowledged. Genuine interest replacing clinical assessment in her mercury gaze. Guild regulations require contract reassessment when direct observation contradicts foundational parameters. And what parameters were you given? Goku asked directly. Target designated as dimensional anomaly with uncontrolled autonomous manifestation causing accelerated void penetration, she recited with perfect recall. Neutralization authorized to prevent cascading reality degradation across 17 primary dimensions. And your direct observation, he prompted. The assassin studied him with expected thoroughness before responding. Subject demonstrates controlled autonomous manifestation with precise dimensional awareness. Energy signature indicates harmonic stabilization rather than disruptive resonance. She paused, head tilting slightly. Fascinating discrepancy. Parameter contradiction requires immediate contract suspension pending further assessment. Kia and Zara exchanged concerned glances. Clearly uncomfortable with Goku's approach but recognizing the strategic logic. After brief hesitation, Zara deactivated the containment field, allowing the assassin's form to stabilize into complete materialization. I am Luna, the shadow being introduced herself formally, mercury eyes fixed on Goku with newfound interest. Senior operative of the Shadow Guild, Dimensional Division. My contract regarding your neutralization is hereby suspended pending comprehensive parameter reassessment. That's not quite what I expected, Kia muttered, artifact still ready for defensive activation. Luna's attention shifted briefly toward the Guardian. Prismatic Confederation protocols lack procedural flexibility. The Guild maintains adaptive assessment algorithms allowing for parameter evolution based on empirical evidence. Meaning she can change her mind when facts contradict orders, Goku translated, earning a slight nod of confirmation from the assassin. Temporary operational neutrality established, Luna continued formally. However, contract suspension does not eliminate the underlying cosmic concern regarding your existence. The void convergence continues accelerating. Multiple dimensional authorities prepare containment responses, most involving your neutralization through various means. Goku absorbed this information with the calm determination that had characterized his approach to challenges throughout his life. Then I need to understand what I am and how to control it fully. Not just for my safety, but for everyone affected by these dimensional disturbances. The temple, Zara murmured thoughtfully. If it still exists as Kia suggests, it would contain historical records of previous autonomous masters and their methodologies for maintaining dimensional stability. Luna's mercury eyes flickered with evident interest. The Temple of Autonomous Masters is non-theoretical. The Prismatic Confederation maintains historical evidence of its continued existence. Kia confirmed cautiously, though exact dimensional coordinates remain unverified. The Guild possesses certain historical access parameters, Luna offered unexpectedly. Operational assignments occasionally reference temple architectural configurations as dimensional anchoring precedents. The three-dimensional travelers exchanged looks of surprised reassessment as new possibilities emerged from their combined knowledge. Goku watched this silent negotiation with growing awareness of larger cosmic politics beyond his previous understanding. Where Zara had once been his primary connection to interdimensional knowledge, now multiple perspectives converged around his existence. A cooperative search protocol, Kia suggested tentatively. Combining Confederation historical records, Department archaeological data, and Guild operational parameters. Potentially viable, Luna acknowledged with mathematical precision. Success probability increases 47% throw. A trilateral approach versus individual methodologies. Zara nodded slowly, analytical mind clearly calculating complex variables. The temple founders would have implemented dimensional camouflage, specifically designed to prevent detection by conventional authorities. Our combined unconventional perspectives might identify patterns invisible to standard search protocols. As they discussed Ch. Nickel details of this unprecedented cooperation, Goku found himself drawn to the Dimensional Pockets observation portal overlooking the now darkened tournament arena. Provincial authorities had earned with cleanup crews addressing physical damage from the Void Hunter incursion. Ordinary humans resuming ordinary lives, completely unaware of cosmic forces converging around their reality. For 8 years, he had trained and wandered Earth's remote regions, developing his abilities while maintaining deliberate separation from populated areas precisely to prevent what had occurred today. Now that strategy had failed completely. His existence alone attracted threats to this world, threats beyond conventional human capacity to confront or even comprehend. "We leave tonight," he announced, interrupting the technical discussion behind him. "If my presence endangers Earth, and the temple might provide answers, there's no logical reason to delay." The dimensional alignment for optimal TRA-N scission occurs in approximately 6 hours, Luna calculated immediately. Preparation protocols require minimum 4-hour implementation for cooperative navigation parameters. Kia nodded agreement. "My sanctuary can maintain stability for required duration. Preparation of interdimensional transit equipment will proceed immediately." As the three-dimensional travelers began implementing complex preparations for their unprecedented cooperative venture, Goku maintained his position at the observation portal. Silver occasionally flickered across his irises as he watched humanity continuing below. Unaware of changes about to reshape his existence completely. "I'll return," he promised quietly to the world that had raised him. With answers. Behind him, reality itself prepared to bend arrow. The silver-eyed Saiyan whose very existence challenged cosmic law. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, Realms Beyond. Dimensional transit resembled nothing in Goku's previous experience. His body seemed to simultaneously compress into infinitesimal density and expand across limitless space as reality folded around their interdimensional vessel. The craft itself, a marriage of Kia's prismatic technology, Luna's Shadow Guild modifications, and Zara's archaeological expertise, navigated pathways between worlds with calculated precision. Molecular recalibration complete, Luna announced from her position at navigational controls. Mercury eyes tracking dimensional coordinates with perfect awareness. Transition sequence initiating in 3 standard units. "Crystallize your consciousness," Zara instructed Goku. Noting his expression as physical discomfort manifested. "Focus your awareness on a single memory, something emotionally significant but not overwhelming." Goku closed his eyes, calling Foe. RTH the image of Grandpa Gohan demonstrating his first kata on the mountain clearing years before. The memory's clarity provided mental anchor against dimensional distortion as reality itself compressed into singular focus point. Then explosively expanded into entirely new configuration. Arrival successful, Kia confirmed as external viewports clarified to reveal their destination. "Welcome to Nexus Orionis, Silver Eyes." The dimensional nexus sprawled impossibly before them, a cosmic interchange where multiple realities conjoined in stable overlap zone. Unlike Earth's single-dimension architecture, the nexus existed simultaneously in 17 reality planes, allowing beings from disparate universal systems to coexist within shared space. The central structure defied conventional geom. A massive crystalline fortress whose angles connected in ways that violated Euclidean mathematics, surrounded by subsidiary structures each representing different dimensional authorities. The Ismatic convocation occurs once per grand cycle, Kia explained as their vessel-joined procession of arrival craft navigating toward designated docking parameters. Representatives from all 17 primary dimensions gather for commerce, political negotiation, and most relevantly, martial competition to establish hierarchy of combat supremacy. Tournament of Realms, Luna added with uncharacteristic reverence. Mercury eyes analyzing approaching structures. Guild observational protocols classify it as the multiverse's premier combat demonstration. Zara completed the explanation, clearly familiar with the event despite her academic focus. Each dimension sends champions to showcase their reality's fighting systems. Victory enhances dimensional standing in cosmic political negotiations. The competition occurs simultaneously across multiple reality planes, allowing techniques impossible within single-dimensional limitations. Their craft docked with mathematical precision at Christ. A line berth assigned through Kia's prismatic credentials. External hatches reconfigured to accommodate dimensional pressure variances between vessel interior and Nexus atmosphere. Prepare for gravity fluctuations, Luna warned as exit protocols initiated. The Nexus maintains 17 simultaneous gravitational fields calibrated to dimensional origin points. Goku's first step onto Nexus soil brought immediate sensory overload. His consciousness registered multiple overlapping reality planes simultaneously, each with distinct atmospheric composition, gravitational constant, and temporal flow. Silver flickered briefly across his irises as Ultra Instinct automatically adjusted his perception to process the multidimensional input without mental fracture. Fascinating adaptation, Zara observed. Scientific interest evident as she monitored his physiological response. Most first-time visitors require minimum 12-hour adjustment period before achieving basic functional stability. Around them, the arrival concourse teemed with beings of impossible diversity. Entities composed entirely of crystalline mathematics conversed with amorphous energy constructs. Humanoid figures from various dimensions displayed biological adaptations ranging from subtle to profound. Extra limbs, sensory organs, or physical properties defying standard material constraints. Remember your cover parameters, Kia instructed quietly, guiding their group toward credential verification station. You're registered as my affiliate combatant from Dimensional Outreach Province 7. Basic biographical information links to fabricated historical records should anyone investigate. Is deception necessary? Goku questioned, uncomfortable with the elaborate identity construction. Luna answered with pragmatic certainty. Operational security essential. Announcing, unregistered Saiyan with divine energy contamination would trigger immediate containment protocols from multiple dimensional authorities. Not to mention assassination attempts from various interested parties, Zara added grimly. The credential process proceeded smoothly through Kia's established prismatic channels. Officials recorded Goku's fabricated identity with minimal scrutiny, more concerned with processing the unprecedented influx of dimensional visitors than verifying individual backgrounds. Their group received ACC accommodation assignments in the Prismatic Confederation's designated sector, along with competition schedules and navigational parameters. Preliminary assessments begin tomorrow, Kia explained as THEY traversed the central promenade toward residential quadrants. Tonight features ceremonial introductions and dimensional diplomatic functions. Goku absorbed the overwhelming sensory input with outward calm belying inner fascination. Every structure around them existed simultaneously in multiple reality planes, causing buildings to appear outlined in prismatic halos as light refracted through dimensional boundaries. Beings from incompatible realities passed through one another with ghostly partial interaction as their fundamental vibrational frequencies prevented complete co-occupation of shared space. Their assigned accommodations reflected Kia's significant standing within prismatic hierarchy, a multi-chambered dwelling whose architecture adjusted to occupants' dimensional origin points, creating comfortable microenvironments for each inhabitant. Central gathering space featured technology beyond Earth's developmental timeline by thousands of years, including dimensional viewing, portals and customizable environmental controls. Rest and acclimate, Kia advised once accommodation protocols completed. I must attend preliminary Guardian Council to secure your tournament entry parameters. Luna will establish perimeter surveillance countermeasures while Zara completes your biographical documentation. Before departing, she hesitated momentarily, violet eyes studying Goku with unexpected concern. The Nexus contains beings who can sense energy signatures despite suppression techniques. Maintain minimal Ultra Instinct manifestation regardless of circumstances until competition protocols activate. Alone in his assigned chamber, Goku finally relaxed the constant vigilance maintained since leaving Earth. Silver energy flickered freely around his form as his conscious Ness expanded to explore the multidimensional nature of his surroundings. The Nexus's unique properties allowed his awareness to perceive 17 simultaneous reality planes, each with distinct physical laws yet existing in perfect harmonic balance. Meditation techniques developed during years of training with Zara helped process this expanded perception without mental fragmentation. His Conscio USNESS separated sensory inputs by dimensional origin, creating ordered framework for understanding his unprecedented environment. Hours passed in this deep meditative state until a subtle dimensional distortion alerted him to approaching presence. Your energy signature fluctuates beyond recommended parameters, Luna observed from the doorway, her shadow substance form partially phased to reduce detectability. 17% increase in dimensional resonance since arrival. Goku opened eyes momentarily flickering with silver. The Nexus responds differently to Ultra Instinct than Earth did. Almost like it recognizes the energy pattern. Logical correlation with historical hypothesis, Luna acknowledged, entering the chamber with characteristic economy of movement. If the Temple O.F. autonomous masters previously existed at dimensional intersection point, residual harmonic frequencies would maintain recognition parameters for silver energy signatures. Their conversation was interrupted by Zara's arrival. The archaeologist's expression suggesting significant discoveries. Preliminary historical database access confirms our theories, she announced without preamble. The Nexus Orionis' original architectural plans incorporate design elements identical to fragmented temple records. This entire dimensional intersection point was constructed on foundation structures dating back to autonomous master civilization. We're standing on the temple's remains? Goku asked, immediately grasping the implications. More accurately, the temple was repurposed and expanded into current Nexus configuration. Zara clarified, producing holographic representations from her research devices. After the autonomous master's disappearance, dimensional authorities repurposed the abandoned infrastructure, building the Nexus atop original temple foundations while incorporating key structural elements. Luna processed this information with mathematical precision. Logical adaptation O.F. pre-existing dimensional anchor points. Original temple harmonic frequencies would stabilize intersection parameters more efficiently than new construction. The archaeological revelation settled across the chamber with profound implications. If the Nexus had been built upon temple foundations, remnants of the original structure might still exist somewhere beneath the sprawling interdimensional complex. More significantly, the foundation's harmonic frequency would naturally amplify Ultra Instinct energy, potentially explaining Goku's enhanced perception since arrival. The tournament becomes secondary, Zara continued, clearly energized by her discovery. While you compete, Luna and I can access historical archives to locate potential access points to original temple substructures. Quote, assuming such access remains viable after extensive reconstruction, Luna countered with characteristic precision. Probability calculations suggest 72% likelihood of deliberate containment protocols, preventing unauthorized exploration of Foundation architecture. Their strategic discussion halted as Kia returned from prismatic council meetings, her expression reflecting complex political developments. Situation complicated, she announced, securing their chambers with additional privacy protocols. Your tournament participation has been approved, but under significantly enhanced observation parameters. Our cover identity has been compromised, Zara asked with immediate concern. Kia shook her head, not precisely. However, multiple dimensional representatives expressed unusual interest in an unaffiliated combatant from dimensional outreach sector. Someone recognized your energy signature despite suppression measures. Goku absorbed this information with calm acceptance. Should we withdraw from the tournament? Counterproductive, Luna interjected before Kia could respond. Immediate withdrawal would confirm suspicious parameters. Strategic advancement through preliminary rounds while maintaining controlled energy signature provides optimal cover for temple investigation protocols. The Shadow Guild operative is correct, Kia acknowledged reluctantly. Torname. NT participation maintains our legitimate presence while investigation proceeds. However, she added with meaningful emphasis, the ceremonial introduction gathering tonight becomes more significant. Multiple dimensional authorities will attempt to visually confirm your identity while maintaining diplomatic protocols. Political reconnaissance operation, Luna translated for Goku's benefit. The Why seek confirmation without acknowledging suspicion? Then we attend as planned, he decided with characteristic directness. I've never hidden from challenges before. The Grand Convocation Chamber defied conventional architectural description. Its structure existed simultaneously across all 17 primary dimensions, creating a space where beings from incompatible reality systems could interact without dimensional translation devices. Crystalline pillars rose hundreds of meters toward a ceiling that seemed to open directly into the cosmic void, star patterns from multiple realities overlapping in impossible configurations. Dimensional representatives filled the massive chamber, segregated by cosmic political affiliations rather than reality origin points. The Prismatic Confederate occupied a significant central section, their representatives displaying the distinctive vertical pupilled eyes and colorful skin tones that characterized Kia's people. Opposite them, stern-faced officials from the Harmonic Concord maintained rigidly formal postures, their white-gold uniforms marking them as representatives of divine dimensional authorities. Celestial observers, Zara murmured, noting Goku's attention on the white-uniformed group. The Dimensional Accords Enforcement Division. They maintain boundaries between reality planes and prevent unauthorized crossings. Like the ones we encountered at the tournament. Goku recalled, recognizing similar ceremonial pendants among the assembled officials. Provincial representatives, Kia clarified dismissively. These are Neor Enforcement Coordinators, beings with authority to implement dimensional containment protocols without judicial oversight. Their group navigated the sprawling gathering with careful precision, Aya's prismatic credentials providing sufficient status to participate without attracting immediate scrutiny. Luna maintained partial phase state that rendered her shadow substance form less immediately identifiable, while Zara adopted scholarly demeanor that discouraged casual interaction. Goku found himself subject to increasingly obvious observation as they progressed through the chamber. Representatives from various dimensional authorities engineered seemingly accidental proximity to study him with methods ranging from subtle to painfully obvious. Some possessed technological scanning devices disguised as ceremonial objects, while others demonstrated direct energy sensing capabilities that probed his carefully maintained suppression field. Your control impresses, Kia noted quietly. After their seventh, coincidental, encounter with scanning officials, most beings would have registered energy fluctuations under such persistent examination. I've had practice concealing my true nature, Goku responded simply. Memories of Earth years spent in deliberate anonymity surfacing briefly. Their progression halted as the chamber's central announcement system activated, crystalline resonators amplifying a ceremonial herald's pronouncement across 17 simultaneous reality planes. Attending representatives are advised that Harmonic Concord champions have arrived for tournament registration protocols. Appropriate acknowledgement is requested. The chamber's atmosphere shifted instantly as attention redirected toward the main entrance where new arrivals manifested through dimensional transfer portal. Unlike conventional attendees who navigated the nexus through physical movement, these beings materialized directly into the chamber through privileged access reserved for highest-tier dimensional authorities. Actual divine representatives, Zara explained quietly, noting Goku's interest. The Harmonic Concord maintains exclusive governance over deity-level entities across multiple dimensions. The arriving delegation moved with synchronized precision that suggested shared consciousness rather than coordinated individuals. Leading them walked a being whose appearance caused involuntary respectful withdrawal from all nearby attendees, tall and imposing with skin of burnished gold that seemed to emit light rather than reflect it. Behind this obvious leader followed 4 subsidiary figures of similar divine composition but less overwhelming presence. Senior Harmony Keeper, Kia identified, voice lowered to near whisper. Dimensional equivalent to what Earth cultures would call archangel or lesser deity. The followers are Harmony apprentices, beings in transitional state between mortal and divine essence. Goku studied the divine delegation with analytical interest, noting the distinctive energy pattern emanating from their forms. Not entirely unlike his own ultra instinct but structured differently, as though conforming to predetermined RNS rather than flowing through intuitive pathways. His attention fixed particularly on the final apprentice, a female figure whose divine transformation appeared less advanced than her companions. Unlike their metallic perfection, her form retained traces of previous mortal existence. hair that still moved with environmental currents rather than divine stasis, eyes that displayed emotional variation rather than serene constancy. Subtle micro-expressions suggesting individual thought processes rather than collective consciousness. As though sensing his observation, this final apprentice turned toward Goku's position with startling directness. Their eyes met across the crowded chamber, his dark irises momentarily flickering with suppressed silver meeting her pearl-white gaze containing flecks of remaining mortal coloration. Something indefinable passed between them in that brief connection, recognition beyond conscious understanding, resonance between fundamentally different yet somehow compatible energy patterns. Interesting, Luna observed with uncharacteristic perception. The transitional divine entity demonstrates response parameters outside collective behavioral algorithms. The moment shattered as the senior harmony keeper redirected the apprentice's attention with subtle but unmistakable authority. The divine delegation continued their ceremonial progression toward designated position. But not before the female apprentice cast one final glance toward Goku that contained unmistakable curiosity. Arya, Kia identified quietly. Newest Harmony apprentice elevated Fr. Own mortal status within the last century. Still completing transition to full divine essence. She sensed my energy signature, Goku noted with concern. Despite suppression protocols, transition. All divine entities maintain heightened perception of anomalous energy patterns, Luna confirmed with analytical precision. Recent elevation from mortal status creates sensitivity to boundary violations between dimensional categories. Before they could discuss implications further, the chamber's ceremonial systems activated once more. Crystal resonators throughout the vast space aligned into synchronized harmonic pattern, creating dimensional focal point at the chamber's center where a being of obvious cosmic authority manifested. Unlike previous arrivals whose forms maintained recognizable structural parameters despite divine origin, this entity existed as conceptual representation rather than physical manifestation, a geometric pattern of light and energy that human consciousness interpreted as vaguely humanoid only through perceptual approximation. The architect. Gasps rippled through gathered representatives, conversations instantly silenced by the unexpected manifestation of cosmic authority rarely witnessed by lesser entities. Dimensional representatives. The being's communication bypassed conventional sound, manifesting directly in each observer's consciousness in their native conceptual framework. The grand cycle approaches significant intersection point. Harmonic fluctuations increase across primary and secondary reality planes. The Tournament of Realms shall proceed under enhanced observation protocols. The geometric light patterns shifted into more complex configuration that somehow conveyed intensified focus. Anomalous energy signatures have been detected within multiple dimensional boundaries. Containment parameters shall be implemented through established authority channels. The accord remains inviolate. With that cryptic pronouncement, the entity's manifestation collapsed into dimensional singularity before disappearing completely. Stunned silence held momentarily before erupting into urgent conversations throughout the chamber as representatives processed the unprecedented direct communication from Cosmic Architecture Authority. This complicates matters significantly, Zara murmured, scientific detachment failing to mask genuine concern. The architect never manifests unless dimensional stability faces fundamental threat. Operational parameters require immediate reassessment, Luna added, Mercury eyes calculating rapidly changing probability matrices. Architect manifestation indicates highest-level cosmic awareness of anomalous energy signatures. Kia's expression reflected complex political calculations. The tournament just transformed from competitive exhibition to containment operation. They'll use the event to identify and isolate dimensional anomalies under guise of legitimate competition protocols. Goku absorbed these implications with characteristic calm. They're looking for me specifically or anyone with similar energy signature. Pattern recognition protocols would prioritize specific ultra-instinct frequency identification. Luna answered with mathematical precision. However, operational efficiency suggests broader containment approach targeting all anomalous energy signatures simultaneously. Meaning I'm not the only one they're searching for, Goku concluded thoughtfully. Their discussion halted as new disturbance rippled through the chamber, not from cosmic authority but from expected confrontation near the Harmonic Concord delegation. A powerful female voice carried across the space, its commanding tone silencing nearby conversations. I challenge the Concord's exclusive participation claim. The Forgotten Realm maintains independent qualification status under original tournament protocols. The gathered crowd parted to reveal the confrontation's source, a striking war. Rear woman with distinctive ceremonial armor Goku instantly recognized despite significant difference from her previous appearance. Kia had abandoned her civilian attire for royal battle regalia that announced her true status to the assembled representatives. Her violet eyes blazed with controlled fury as she faced the senior Harmony Keeper directly, royal emblem raised in formal challenge position. The Forgotten Realm was consumed by void incursion, the golden divine being responded, voice resonating with harmonic overtones that suggested barely restrained power. Its dimensional coordinates no longer exist within recognized reality parameters. The Concord maintains stewardship over all displaced entities from collapsed reality planes. The realm's physical manifestation was lost. Kia countered with unwavering authority, but its people and sovereign authority endure. As royal guardian and last recognized champion, I claim independent participation rights under original tournament charter. Murmurs spread through the chamber as dimensional representatives recognized the profound political implications of this public challenge. The Harmonic Concord's authority over displac ed populations provided significant voting advantage in cosmic governance structures, an advantage directly threatened by Kia's unprecedented claim. The female apprentice, Arya, stepped forward with visible concern. Keeper, the original charter does specify bloodline continuity as sufficient qualification parameter regardless of dimensional status. Silence, apprentice, the Keeper commanded without shifting golden gaze from Kia. Your transition remains incomplete. You lack authority to interpret charter provisions. Arya withdrew immediately, though her pearl eyes revealed momentary ash of resentment quickly suppressed beneath divine apprentice protocols. Goku noted this micro-expression with interest, evidence that her transition to divine consciousness remained incomplete enough to permit individual emotional responses. The Keeper's golden form seemed to intensify as divine authority manifested in subtle dimensional pressure directed at Kia. Your challenge is noted, guardian of nothing. The Concord acknowledges your technical qualification while questioning the legitimacy of participation without constituent population. What realm do you truly represent, last daughter of collapsed reality? Kia's response carried perfectly modulated conviction that immediately commanded respect from observing representatives. I represent all beings displaced by void incursion across 17 dimensions. Those whose homes were consumed while the Concord debated theoretical containment protocols instead of implementing practical defense parameters. Shocked murmurs rippled through the gathering at this direct accusation against divine governance structures. Even Luna's Mercury eyes widened slightly at Kia's calculated political attack. The Tournament Adjudication Council will evaluate your petition. The Keeper conceded with evident reluctance, golden form receding to less overwhelming manifestation. Until formal determination, provisional participation status is granted under historical precedent. Victory secured, Kia offered precisely calibrated formal acknowledgement, respectful enough to maintain protocol while clearly communicating her sovereign equality rather than subordinate status. As the confrontation concluded and representatives returned to previous conversations, she rejoined their group with measured steps that revealed no outward celebrate. Ion despite significant political achievement. That was unexpected, Zara observed once Kia returned to their position. You deliberately exposed your true identity after emphasizing our need for anonymity. Calculated strategic necessity, Kia replied without apology. My confrontation redirects observation resources toward legitimate political dispute, reducing scrutiny on unexplained tournament participants. Luna's Mercury eyes revealed rare approval. Effective misdirection tactics. Dimensional authorities will prioritize monitoring established power confrontation over investigating unknown variables. While his companions discussed the political implications, Goku's attention remained fixed on the Harmony apprentice who had spoken in Kia's favor. Arya maintained perfect RNAL composure while clearly experiencing internal conflict invisible to less perceptive observers. When the divine delegation departed, she alone glanced back toward their position, pearl eyes seeking. Momentary connection before dimensional protocol forced her attention forward. The female divine apprentice demonstrates unusual behavioral patterns, Luna noted, following Goku's line of sight with analytical precision. Her energy signature registers incomplete harmonic integration into collective consciousness matrix. Arya was elevated from mortal status less than a century ago, Kia explained with unexpected sympathy. Divine transition normally requires millennia for complete personality integration. She retains individual consciousness despite collective pressure. The implicati, on settled across their group with shared understanding, another being caught between categorical definitions, neither fully divine nor truly mortal, navigating impossible balance between fundamentally different states of existence. The parallel to Goku's own situation required no explicit acknowledgement. Tournament registration protocols activate tomorrow at primary dimensional intersection, Kia continued. Returning to practical matters, preliminary competition begins immediately following categorization. We should return to our assigned quarters and prepare accordingly. As they navigated from the ceremonial chamber, Goku maintained heightened awareness of the countless eyes tracking their movement, some driven by political interest following Kia's challenge, others by more specific recognition of anomalous energy patterns despite his careful suppression. The nexus had transformed from potential sanctuary to elaborate trap closing slowly around him. Yet beneath this strategic concern pulsed something unexpected, a sense of anticipation that transcended caution. For the first time since leaving Earth, he would face opponents potentially capable of testing limits he himself had never fully explored. The silver energy constantly flowing beneath his conscious mind responded to this prospect with something approaching eagerness. Tournament registration transformed the Nexus Central Arena into ordered chaos as combatants from 17 dimensions processed through classification protocols. Unlike Earth competitions with simple weight categories, the Tournament of Realms required elaborate energy signature analysis, dimensional compatibility assessment, and combat technique classification to ensure reasonable competitive balance despite wildly divergent physiological parameters. Primary evaluation complete, the classification official announced after Goku completed initial screening. Categorization: Physical Manifestation Combat Specialist, Class 3 Power Output. Dimensional Compatibility Rating 17. This last designation caused the official to pause, double-checking readings with evident surprise. Maximum compatibility across all primary dimensions. Unusual parameter. Secondary verification required. Kia intervened smoothly, royal credentials providing sufficient authority to override additional scrutiny. My affiliate combatant has earned Ergon Specialized Dimensional Adaptation Training. Comprehensive compatibility is expected outcome of appropriate preparation protocols. The official accepted this explanation with visible reluctance, completing Goku's registration while flagging his file with notation that would undoubtedly attract future attention. With tournament identification secured, they proceeded toward competitor Orion Tation chambers where preliminary round matchups would be announced. 17-dimensional compatibility is extremely rare, Zara explained quietly as they navigated the crowded processing area. Saint beings maintain primary resonance with their origin dimension while achieving secondary compatibility with 3 to 5 adjacent reality planes. The classification will attract additional scrutiny, Luna added with characteristic pragmatism. However, tournament protocols prevent invasive investigation once competition begins. Strategic advancement through preliminary rounds provides operate ional cover for temple exploration activities. The orientation chamber impressed through sheer scale rather than architectural refinement, a massive geometrical dome whose interior existed simultaneously across all tournament-relevant dimensions. Competitors from wildly divergent reality planes congregated in species-specific groupings, some requiring specialized environmental fields to maintain physiological stability in shared space. As the last registrants completed processing, tournament officials activated the central projection system. Crystalline matrix at the chamber's center expand into comprehensive three-dimensional representation of the competition structure, 16 preliminary blocks feeding into elimination brackets culminating in championship tier. Combatants, attend. The chief official's voice resonated through dimensional translation fields ensuring comprehension across all participant species. Tournament protocols follow established pattern from previous cycles. Preliminary rounds establish qualification ranking through point accumulation. Victory parameters vary by match designation. Elimination rounds follow standard competition protocols with victory by surrender, incapacitation, or dimensional displacement. Goku's attention focused on the match randomization system as preliminary block assignments materialized within the crystalline projection. His designation appeared in Block 7 alongside 11 other competitors from various dimensional origins. Interesting distribution, Kia noted, analyzing the assignments with tactical precision. The randomization algorithm has created unusual power clustering in specific blocks. Randomization appearance with predetermined outcome parameters, Luna observed with mathematical certainty. Statistical distribution indicates deliberate matchup engineering disguised as procedural allocation. Zara nodded grim agreement. They're isolating specific energy signatures into controlled competitive environments. Cosmic authorities are using the tournament structure to identify and classify potential anomalies. Before they could discuss implications further, a familiar presence approached T.'s position with deliberate directness that caught even Luna by surprise. The divine apprentice Arya navigated through the crowded chamber with perfect efficiency, her path toward Goku so precisely calculated it appeared coincidental to casual observers despite its obvious intentionality. Compatibility rating 17, she noted without introduction, pearl eyes studying him with intensity belying her serene expression. Statistically improbable parameter for non-divine entity. Goku met her gaze directly, neither challenging nor submissive. I adapt quickly. Indeed, a hint of something approximating humor flickered across her divine features. Your preliminary block assignment places you against harmonic concord representative in third sequence. Conventional combat techniques WILL prove ineffective against divine energy manipulation. The warning was delivered with careful neutrality that nonetheless communicated clear intent to assist rather than intimidate. Before Goku could respond, Luna intervened with characteristic directness. Harmonic apprentice engages unauthorized communication with competitive opponent, she observed, Mercury eyes analyzing Arya's divine energy pattern with mathematical precision. Protocol violation noted. Rather than retreating from this confrontation, Arya turned toward Luna with surprising assertiveness. Shadow Guild Operative Imp, Lemont's outdated regulatory interpretation. Current tournament protocols permit preliminary technical exchange provided no specific strategic advantages are communicated. Kia stepped forward, royal authority creating buffer between potential dimensional incident. The apprentice is technically correct. However, her presence attracts unnecessary attention to unaffiliated competitors. Strategic discretion seems advisable for all parties. Arya acknowledged this diplomatic intervention with slight inclination that somehow conveyed both divine apprentice protocol and individual personality simultaneously. The Royal Guardian's assessment demonstrates practical wisdom. I shall withdraw. To Goku directly, she added with subtle emphasis, until our scheduled encounter. As she departed with perfectly calibrated movements that drew minimal attention despite her divine nature, Zara voiced the question foremost in their collective analysis. Why would a harmonic apprentice deliberately RN potential opponent about divine combat parameters? Her actions contradict both competitive logic and concord protocols. Luna's Mercury eyes tracked Arya's retreating form with uncharacteristic uncertainty. Insufficient data for conclusive behavioral analysis. Multiple contradictory motivation patterns present probability matrices without clear dominance. She's caught between worlds, Goku stated with simple certainty born from immediate recognition of shared experience. Divine protocols pulling against remaining mortal perspective. She makes choices neither side fully understands. His companions exchanged significant glances at this unusually perceptive assessment from their normally straightforward ally. Before they could explore implications further, tournament officials announced commencement of preliminary rounds, directing competitors toward their designated combat arenas. We proceed as planned, Kia confirmed as they prepared to separate. I'll navigate political dimensions while Luna and Zara investigate temple access possibilities. Goku advances through tournament ranks maintaining careful energy signature control. Unless circumstances necessitate adaptation, Luna amended with practical precision, Mercury eyes calculating continuously evolving probability matrices. Goku nodded agreement as silver briefly flickered across his irises. I'll see you after preliminaries. The preliminary arena for Block 7 defied conventional spatial parameters, its boundaries shifting continuously as reality planes phased through synchronized sequence. Competito. RS awaited their designated matches on dimensional platforms calibrated to their specific physiological requirements, some requiring containment fields to prevent environmental contamination from incompatible biological systems. Goku observed his fellow competitors with analytical interest, identifying combat specializations from 17 different reality systems. Most maintained humanoid configuration despite biological variations ranging from subtle to profound. Additional limbs, sensory organs, or physical properties transcending standard material constraints. Others abandoned anthropomorphic structure entirely, existing as energy constructs, geometric manifestations, or quantum probability fields somehow participating in physical competition. First preliminary match. Son Goku vs. Nexus representative Toral. The arena official announced through dimensional translation system. Standard combat parameters. Victory by incapacitation, surrender, or boundary displacement. His OPP opponent materialized on the competition platform through dimensional transfer system, a being composed entirely of crystalline mathematical structures arranged in vaguely humanoid configuration. Its communication bypassed conventional sound, manifesting directly in Goku's consciousness. Dimensional anomaly detected, it stated without preamble. Classification parameters incomplete. Analysis required. Goku realized immediately this wasn't merely a tournament competitor but a Nexus security construct specifically designed to evaluate unusual participants. Its crystalline structure would record and analyze his combat patterns, energy signature, and response algorithms for tournament authorities. The match wasn't competition but elaborate scanning procedure disguised as preliminary round. Begin, the official commanded. The crystalline entity attacked with mathematical precision, its movements following optimal trajectory calculations designed to force defensive response revealing combat parameters. Rather than evade conventionally, Goku implemented the strategy developed with his companions, revealing enough skill to advance competitively while concealing his true capabilities. He responded with basic martial techniques enhanced by just enough speed and power to appear impressive without triggering Ultra Instinct manifestation. The crystalline opponent adjusted instantly to this initial assessment, reconfiguring its structure to counter demonstrated abilities while probing for additional capabilities. Their exchange continued for precisely calculated duration, the entity systematically testing different combat approaches while recording Goku's responses for analysis. When sufficient data had apparently been gathered, it initiated final evaluation sequence through direct frontal assault designed to force maximum defensive response. Instead of automatically accessing silver energy as his instincts urged, Goku deliberately utilized conventional defensive technique. Enhanced by precisely controlled power output, the approach allowed him to successfully repel the attack while maintaining energy signature within parameters that would register as exceptionally LLED mortal, rather than divine anomaly. Preliminary assessment complete. The crystalline entity communicated as it voluntarily stepped beyond arena boundary, conceding the match through technical ring out. Participant advances with primary qualification ranking. Tournament officials recorded the outcome with visibly mixed reactions, clearly expecting different results from the evaluation match. Goku returned to the competitor waiting area, maintaining careful awareness of his energy signature despite the calculated victory. Interesting approach, a melodic voice observed as he navigated from the arena platform, deliberately constraining performance parameters to avoid comprehensive evaluation. Tactically sound if somewhat counterintuitive for competitive framework. The speaker materialized with liquid grace from seemingly empty space, a female entity whose form constantly shifted between solid matter and vaporous energy state. Her features rearranged continuously while maintaining recognizable identity pattern through some property transcending physical appearance. Mako, she introduced herself, temporarily solidifying extended appendage in approximation of human greeting gesture. Techno-organic specialist from synthesis dimension. Your controlled energy distribution during combat demonstration suggests advanced regulatory capabilities despite simplified tactical presentation. Goku accepted the greeting with polite neutrality while assessing potential threat level. Just trying to advance without unnecessary complications. Sensible approach given current observational parameters. Mako agreed, her form briefly displaying analytical schematics before reconfiguring to more conventional appearance. Tournament officials implement enhanced scanning protocols during preliminary rounds. Energy signature classification supersedes competitive advancement as operational priority. The casual revelation of Tournament's true purpose confirmed their earlier suspicions. You seem well informed about security protocols, Goku noted carefully. Mako's features shifted into expression approximating conspiratorial amusement. Techno-organic integration FA facilitates enhanced information processing through multidimensional network interfaces. Tournament security systems utilize outdated encryption algorithms vulnerable to quantum resonance scanning. It took Goku a moment to translate this technical explanation. You hacked their security system. Hacking implies unauthorized systems penetration, she corrected with precise technical distinction. I merely observe information patterns through naturally occurring quantum entanglement properties inherent to my physiological structure. Before Goku could respond to this questionable ethical distinction, tournament officials announced his second preliminary match, this one against organic opponent utilizing conventional combat methodology. The encounter proceeded similarly to his first, with Goku revealing sufficient skill to advance convincingly while carefully suppressing his true capabilities. Through 3 subsequent matches, he maintained this strategic balance, victorious through superior conventional technique rather than accessing ultra instinct reserves constantly flowing beneath conscious awareness. Each opponent presented unique challenges requiring tactical adaptation, none pushed boundaries that would necessitate silver energy manifestation. Between matches, Mako continued their conversation with fascinating perspective on Tournament's hidden purpose. Her organic nature allowed her to perceive information systems invisible to conventional participants, providing valuable intelligence about escalating security protocols as preliminary rounds progressed. Classification algorithms demonstrate increasing specificity parameters, she informed him after his 5th consecutive victory. Officials isolate energy signatures demonstrating harmonic resonance with divine frequency patterns for specialized evaluation procedures. How many participants have they identified? Goku asked, genuine concern surfacing for others potentially facing similar scrutiny. Mako's form briefly displayed numerical matrices before responding. 17 competitors demonstrate anomalous energy signatures of sufficient magnitude to trigger enhanced observation protocols. Your designation currently registers as potential interest, rather than confirmed anomaly, due to carefully regulated output parameters. This information provided both reassurance and concern. His strategy successfully prevented immediate identification, but tournament officials clearly maintained suspicion requiring only confirmation through energy signature manifestation. More troubling was the implication that 16 other competitors faced similar scrutiny, potentially including beings with ultra instinct variations. His strategic considerations paused as officials announced match he had anticipated since registration. 6th preliminary round. Son Goku vs. Harmony Apprentice Arya. Modified competition parameters. Victory by point accumulation or voluntary withdrawal. Lethal techniques prohibited against divine representative. Arya materialized on the competition platform through dimensional transfer significantly different from conventional participants, her form temporarily existing as pure energy pattern before reconfiguring into physical manifestation. Pearl eyes sought his immediately, communicating complex message transcending verbal limitation. As they assumed starting positions, Goku noted subtle differences in her divine presence compared to their brief encounter during ceremonial introductions. Her energy pattern fluctuated with greater variability than standard divine harmonic frequency, suggesting internal conflict between collective consciousness protocols and individual identity remnants from mortal existence. Begin. The official announced with noticeable caution. Matches involving divine representatives carried diplomatic significance beyond standard competition. Arya initiated engagement with textbook divine combat methodology. Generating harmonic energy barriers while launching purification wavelengths designed to disrupt physical matter without causing permanent damage. The approach followed perfect concord protocols for divine entities facing mortal opponents, demonstrating appropriate restraint while maintaining competitive viability. Goku responded with carefully calculated counterstrategies, conventional technique. Enhanced with precise power distribution that penetrated harmonic barriers without revealing anomalous energy signature. Their exchange quickly established rhythm transcending standard tournament combat. each participant demonstrating perfect technical execution while clearly operating within deliberate constraints. Your restraint is remarkable, Arya communicated directly to his consciousness. Divine ability bypassing physical sound limitation. Most mortals facing divine opposition immediately access maximum capability regardless of strategic implications. I could say the same, Goku responded aloud, noting how her attacks systematically avoided his power centers despite creating convincing appearance of genuine combat. Your techniques target non-critical systems with precisely calculated force distribution. Pearl eyes flickered with something approaching amusement. We both maintain performance parameters within acceptable observation limitations while demonstrating sufficient competitive validity to satisfy protocol requirements. Their dance continued with increasing complexity, a choreographed demonstration that appeared as high-level combat to observers while Act-II ally constituting elaborate communication through technique selection, power distribution, and tactical patterning. Where conventional languages failed to bridge mortal and divine conceptual frameworks, combat methodology created shared dialect transcending categorical limitations. As the match approached time limitation parameters, Arya initiated final sequence with attack pattern requiring IFIC response to avoid disqualification through technical knockout. The technique, a concentrated harmonic frequency targeting central nervous system, would incapacitate conventional opponent without permanent damage. Goku recognized both the attack and its intentional vulnerability, responding with counter technique that disrupted the harmonic pattern through precisely calculated physical intervention. The exchange created perfect resolution scenario, both competitors demonstrating exceptional skill while maintaining energy signatures within predetermined limitations. Match conclusion through technical point accumulation. The official announced with evident relief that divine mortal competition had concluded without diplomatic incident. Advancement qualification awarded to both participants through demonstration of exceptional skill parameters. As they exited the competition platform, Arya positioned herself for momentary private communication while maintaining appearance of standard post-match protocol. The Forgotten Realm champion seeks temple access through historical archive parameters, she stated with remarkable directness given potential surveillance. Substructure Ga. Tway exists within Harmonic Concord Administrative Sector. Architectural bypass requires divine authorization currently inaccessible through conventional channels. Goku processed this unexpected intelligence with outward calm masking strategic reassessment. Why are you helping us? Something truly remarkable happened then. Emotion flickered across divine features designed to maintain perfect serenity regardless of circumstance. Arya's pearl eyes briefly revealed unmistakably mortal uncertainty beneath divine apprentice protocols. Because you exist between worlds as I do, she answered with startling honesty. Neither fully one thing nor entirely another. The Concord's response to such categorical violations lacks nuance necessary for genuine understanding. Before he could respond to this profound connection, tournament officials announced qualification results directing advancing competitors toward secondary registration protocols. Arya departed with perfect divine grace that nonetheless conveyed subtle rebellion against collective consciousness parameters attempting to regulate her individual identity. Goku rejoined Mako, who had also advanced through preliminary rounds, with technical precision reflecting her synthetic optimization capabilities. The techno-organic entity studied him with analytical intensity that somehow communicated genuine personal interest beneath scientific observation. Fascinating interaction parameters with divine entity, she observed as they navigated toward secondary registration area. Communication methodology utilizing combat technique. K variation instead of conventional information exchange. Highly efficient adaptive protocol. You could understand what we were really doing? Goku asked with genuine surprise. Mako's form Fly displayed complex analytical schematics before responding. Techno-organic perception processes multidimensional communication frequencies simultaneously. Subtext patterns registered with 89% comprehension accuracy despite encryption through physical technique variation. Their conversation paused as tournament announcement system activated with unexpected security alert. All participants Attention. Unauthorized dimensional breach detected in Sector 9. Security containment protocols activated. Preliminary rounds temporarily suspended pending situation resolution. Competitors remain N designated waiting areas until further notification. Mako's form briefly destabilized as her technological components accessed information networks. Significant security override implemented across multiple systems simultaneously. She reported with uncharacteristic concern. Pattern suggests coordinated intrusion rather than isolated breach event. Before Goku could respond, reality itself distorted throughout the waiting area as dimensional barriers weakened under coordinated attack. Crystalline structures maintaining separation between reality planes developed fracture patterns visible even to conventional perception as security systems attempted to contain expanding breach parameters. From these weakening dimensional boundaries emerged entities unlike any competitors participating in sanctioned tournament activities, beings composed of void matter significantly more evolved than hunters Goku had previously encountered. Where conventional void entities maintained shadowy amorphous configuration, these manifestations displayed deliberate structural organization with clearly defined purpose. Void cultists, Mako identified immediately, her form reconfiguring toward combat orientation with surprising speed. Organized faction utilizing controlled void energy for dimensional manipulation. Significantly more dangerous than standard hunters due to strategic implementation capabilities. The void cultists moved with coordinated precision through the fractured dimensional boundaries, targeting specific locations throughout the waiting area with tactical efficiency suggesting predetermined objectives rather than random incursion. Their physical forms, humanoid configurations wrapped in constantly shifting void matter, carried elaborate mathematical symbols embossed O.N. ceremonial artifacts clearly designed for dimensional manipulation. Convergence coordinates confirmed, their leader announced through distorted communication that bypassed conventional sound to materialize directly in affected consciousness. Primary vessel located. Extraction protocols initiated. With shocking directness, the cultists converged toward Goku's position, void energy weapons manifesting from their fluctuating forms. Tournament security responders materialized through emergency protocols but found their conventional containment methods ineffective against the coordinated void energy assault. They're specifically targeting you, Mako observed, her techno-organic form generating defensive countermeasures with impressive adaptability. Tactical approach suggests precise identification parameters rather than generalized anomaly response. Goku recognized the immediate choice facing him: maintain energy suppression protocols despite direct threat or access Ultra-Inst NCT capabilities to counter void entity attack. Before decision fully crystallized, intervention arrived from unexpected source. Containment breach in progress, Luna's voice preceded her materializ. Ed form as the shadow assassin phase shifted directly into combat position. Void cult extraction team identified. Neutralization authorized under guild security protocols. She engaged the nearest cultists with shadow technique precision refined through countless operations, her mercury eyes calculating optimal intervention points within void matter physiology. Simultaneously, Kia arrived through more conventional means. Royal combat artifacts generating prismatic energy fields that temporarily stabilized fractured dimensional boundaries. Their breach pattern targeted tournament security specifically. The Royal Guardian informed them while dispatching cultists with efficient combat technique. This was planned operation with significant intelligence support, not opportunistic attack. The combined defense of Luna, Kia, and Mako created protective perimeter around Goku, preventing immediate cultist extraction attempt while tournament security implemented broader containment protocols. However, the void entities demonstrated tactical adaptation beyond standard hunter parameters, reconfiguring assault patterns to counter specific defense techniques with disturbing efficiency. Conventional containment insufficient, Luna assessed with mathematical precision. Void energy concentration exceeds neutralization capability through standard methods. Alternative approach required. The cultist leader recognized this tactical stalemate, initiating secondary protocol with disturbing implications. Dimensional collapse sequence initiated, it announced, void artifacts activati. Ing simultaneously throughout the breach zone. Nexus structural integrity compromised. Extraction continues through alternative methodology. Reality itself began unraveling around them as void energy. Y infected the Nexus's dimensional foundation architecture. Crystalline support structures maintaining separation between 17 reality planes developed spreading fracture patterns as fundamental. Forces destabilized under coordinated void cult attack. They're sacrificing the entire sector to force extraction compliance, Kia realized with horror. Thousands of beings from incompatible diamond scions will suffer catastrophic physiological failure if reality planes merge uncontrolled. The situation's gravity crystallized full realization within Goku. This attack specifically targeted him with complete disregard for collateral damage across multiple dimensions. Thousands of innocents faced annihilation unless he accessed capabilities deliberately concealed since arrival. The moral calculation required microseconds to resolve. Silver energy erupted around his form as Ultra Instinct engaged without further constraint. His consciousness expanded simultaneously across 17 reality lanes as full autonomous state manifested with controlled precision developed through years of dedicated training. Unlike previous manifestations driven by immediate threat response, this activation maintained perfect balance between instinctive capability and conscious direction. Magnificent, Mako whispered, techno-organic sensors recording energy pattern with scientific fascination transcending immediate danger. Goku moved with silver-enhanced awareness through dimensional disruption zones, his body existing simultaneously across multiple reality planes as Ultra Instinct permitted navigation through fracturing boundaries impossible for conventional physiology. Each movement precisely countered void energy infection points with harmonic frequency calibrated to specific dimensional parameters. The cultist leader recognized this manifestation with disturbing satisfaction rather than surprise. Divine autonomy confirmed, it communicated through distorted dimensional frequencies. Quote, primary vessel capabilities exceed predictive algorithms. Containment adjusted accordingly. From the leader's void matter form emerged crystalline device of obvious ceremonial significance, a mathematical structure whose angles connected in configurations violating standard dimensional geometry. As the device activated, reality distorted in patterns even Ultra Instinct perception struggled to process completely. Harmonic opposition required, Kia shouted through dimensional disruption, recognizing the device's function with Royal Guardian's specialized knowledge. The artifact creates void resonance field specifically calibrated against silver energy frequency. Before the cultist could complete activation sequence, intervention arrived from entirely unexpected direction. Divine energy. Y surged through fractured dimensional boundaries as Arya manifested directly within the conflict zone, her appearance violating multiple harmonic concord protocols regarding direct divine intervention in mortal affairs. Unauthorized harmonic disruption detected, she announced with perfect divine serenity belying the significant rebellion her presence represented. Corrective resonance implement, ed under emergency provisional authority. Her divine energy, significantly different from Goku's silver Ultra Instinct yet somehow harmonically compatible, created counterbalance to the void cult's dimensional disruption field. Where his capabilities provided direct opposition to void energy infection, her divine harmonic frequencies stabilized structural architecture preventing complete dimensional collapse. Fascinating complementary energy pattern manifestation, Mako observed despite ongoing crisis. Divine harmonic frequency and autonomous silver energy demonstrate unexpected synchronization capability despite originating from fundamentally different metaphysical frameworks. This unexpected alliance created opportunity for coordinated counterattack. Luna and Kia engaged cultist upward elements with precise combat techniques while Goku and Arya focused synchronized energy patterns against their leader and its dimensional disruption device. The void cultist recognized change in tactical situation with disturbing adaptability. Secondary extraction protocol activated, it announced, device reconfiguring to accommodate dual target parameters. Divine Apprentice added to acquisition objectives. Convergence possibilities expand exponentially. Its void matter form expanded dramatically, absorbing ambient energy from fractured dimensional boundaries to generate combat kappa abilities exceeding standard cultist parameters. The transformation revealed disturbing truth. This entity was no ordinary void cultist but specialized operative with capabilities approaching those of dimensional authorities. Collaborative engagement required. Arya communicated directly to Goku's consciousness as they faced this escalating threat. Your autonomous energy lacks structural framework for controlled application. My divine harmonics provide stabilizing matrix without sufficient adaptive response capability. He understood immediately. Her divine training created perfect structure without intuitive adaptability. While his Ultra Instinct provided perfect adaptation without stabilizing framework. Together, Their complementary capabilities might generate response exceeding their individual limitations. Without verbal coordination, Goku and Arya initiated synchronized combat methodology against the void entity. Her divine techniques provided perfect harmonic foundation while H's silver-enhanced awareness adapted each movement to the cultist's constantly changing attack patterns. Where convention would dictate separate engagement strategies, they implemented unified approach. Transcending traditional combat limitations. Their coordinated assault forced the void entity into defensive reconfiguration, its dimensional disruption device losing coherence as power redirected toward self-preservation. Recognizing opportunity, Luna phase shifted into optimal position before launching shadow technique specifically targeting the artifact's structural weak points. Device neutralization sequence initiated, she announced with mathematical precision. Recommend immediate containment protocol implementation before dimensional rebound effect manifests. Kia understood immediately. Royal artifacts generating prismatic containment field around the destabilizing void device. Simultaneously, Mako's techno-organic form reconfigured to interface directly with Nexus security systems. Bypassing administrative protocols to implement emergency dimensional stabilization parameters. Containment field established, she confirmed as crystalline architecture throughout the AFF. Ected sector began repairing fractured connection points. Dimensional integrity restoration at 67% and climbing. Void energy infection neutralized in primary systems. Their combined efforts left the cultist leader isolated as support elements dispersed through emergency extraction protocols. Facing inevitable defeat, the entity initiated final communication before self-termination sequence. The convergence approaches regardless of temporary containment success. The vessel's existence accelerates inevitable collision. We sought to control the process, now chaos will determine outcome. The Silver One returns through unexpected incarnation. With these cryptic pronouncements, the void cultist collapsed into dimensional singularity before disappearing completely, not OYED but strategically retreated through carefully calculated extraction pathway. As reality stabilized around them, tournament security forces finally penetrated the affected sector in overwhelming numbers. Celestial observers materialized through emergency protocols, containment artifacts ready for immediate implementation against identified threats. Leading them strode the senior Harmony Keeper. Golden form radiating divine authority that immediately focused on Arya with unmistakable displeasure. Apprentice, the divine being's harmonics resonated with carefully controlled fury. You have violated 17 primary protocols regarding unauthorized intervention in mortal affairs. Your actions require immediate accounting before the Concord Assembly. Arya faced her superior with perf. ECT divine composure undermined only by subtle defiance visible to those who had witnessed her true capabilities. Emergency parameters justified provisional intervention under Harmonic Code Section 12, Keeper. Dimensional integrity faced imminent catastrophic failure requiring immediate stabilization. The Keeper's golden gaze shifted toward Goku, whose silver energy had receded to mere flick. Carrying around his irises despite ongoing vigilance. And the anomaly, your unauthorized interaction with a being clearly demonstrating unregistered divine contamination requires significant explanation. Before Arya could respond, a new presence materialized through dimensional portals significantly different from conventional transit methods. The architect's geometric manifestation expanded throughout the affected area, its consciousness communication bypassing standard perception limitations. Dimensional stability protocols have been violated through multiple unauthorized actions. The Tournament of Realms is hereby suspended pending comprehensive investigation. All participants demonstrating anomalous energy signatures will submit to immediate containment and classification. Celestia. Observers moved with synchronized precision, containment artifacts expanding toward Goku and his allies with clear intent to implement the architect's directive without debate or delay. The Situatio deteriorated toward inevitable confrontation as Kia's royal artifacts generated defensive parameters while Luna prepared shadow phase evasion techniques. Stop. Arya's voice carried divine authority unprecedented for apprentice status. Pearl eyes blazing with power transcending her transitional position. These beings prevented catastrophic dimensional collapse while authorized response protocols failed completely. Their containment represents bureaucratic convenience rather than cosmic necessity. The Harmony Keeper turned toward his apprentice with genuine shock at this unprecedented rebellion. You dare countermand dimensional authority directives? Your transition clearly requires immediate reevaluation. She's right, another voice joined the confrontation, Mako stepping forward despite significant personal risk. Technical analysis confirms Void Cult breach specifically targeted Nexus Foundation architecture. Without intervention from these individuals, 17 primary dimensions would have experienced cascading failure through structural collapse. The architect's geometric pattern shifted into more complex configuration, suggesting intensified analysis. Verificati. On protocols confirm technological entities assessment. Foundation architecture integrity was compromised through precisely calibrated void energy infection targeting original temple harmonic frequency. This confirmation created momentary hesitation among celestial observers, their containment artifacts maintaining activation parameters without immediate implementation. The architect's next communication changed the confrontation's direction completely. Anomalous energy signatures require comprehensive evaluation rather than standard containment protocols. The Cosmic Tribunal shall assess implications through formal dimensional hearing. Primary subjects will present themselves for complete harmonic analysis regarding potential connection to convergence acceleration patterns. With that pronouncement, reality shifted around specific individuals as dimensional transfer protocols activated without conventional portal generation. Goku, Arya, Kia, Luna, and Mako found themselves acted from the tournament zone through direct architect intervention, their forms dematerializing from conventional space-time before reconstituting in entirely different dimensional configuration. Tribunal chamber transcended conventional architecture, existing simultaneously outside all primary dimensions while maintaining connection points to each reality plane. Its structure followed mathematical principles incomprehensible to beings evolved within standard three-dimensional limitations, creating an environment where cosmic authorities could evaluate interdimensional concerns without conventional reality constraints. Upon arrival, Goku immediately noted the chamber's occupants, beings representing cosmic governance structures beyond anything previously encountered during his interdimensional experiences. Unlike conventional dimensional representatives with recognizable forms, these entities existed as conceptual manifestations rather than physical beings, their presence perceived Hero consciousness interpretation rather than sensory input. The architect's geometric pattern expanded throughout the chamber, forming communication matrix connecting disparate cosmic authorities. The tribunal convenes through emergency protocols. Dimensional stability faces unprecedented threat pattern through multiple convergent factors. The subjects demonstrate energy signatures requiring comprehensive evaluation regarding void convergence acceleration parameters. From the tribunal's central manifestation point emerged communication that bypassed conventional language limitations. The anomaly shall explain its nature. The silver energy contradicts established dimensional categorization principles. Divine essence manifests within mortal vessel without authorized transfer protocols. Explanation is required before determination proceedings. Goku faced cosmic authority with characteristic directness despite the overwhelming nature of the confrontation. Silver flickered acros. His irises as Ultra Instinct responded to perceived threat while conscious control maintained careful regulation. I am Son Goku, he stated simply, voice steady despite the chamber's reality-distorting properties. I was born with this energy signature. It's not contamination or theft, it's who I am. The tribunal's collective consciousness rippled with something approximating consternation at this straightforward response to cosmic inquiry. Before further examination could proceed, Arya stepped forward with divine grace somehow balanced with individual determination. Honorable Tribunal, the dimensional anomaly represented by this being requires contextual framework beyond standard classification protocols. His existence represents evolutionary potential rather than categorical violation. The Harmony Keeper materialized within the chamber, golden form diminished by comparison to the tribunal's cosmic manifestation yet still commanding significant authority. The apprentice eds her jurisdiction through unauthorized advocacy. Her transition status lacks qualification for tribunal testimony. Objection overruled, the tribunal responded with conceptual finality that permitted no further discussion. All perspectives contribute to comprehensive understanding. The divine transition entity shall continue. Encouraged by this unexpected support, Arya proceeded with Rima. Arcable courage given her vulnerable position between divine hierarchy and individual conviction. The being before you demonstrates harmonic resonance with ancient energy patterns preserved within Nexus Foundation architecture. His autonomous capability stabilizes dimensional boundaries rather than weakening them as conventional theory might suggest. Mako's techno-organic form reconfigured to interface directly with the Tribunal's communication matrix, contributing additional perspective with characteristic technical precision. Empirical analysis confirms harmonic stabilization effect during void energy infection crisis. Dimensional integrity restoration accelerated approximately 327% through silver energy application compared to standard containment protocols. The Tribunal's collective consciousness processed these testimonies with incomprehensible speed, conceptual patterns shifting through evaluation algorithms beyond mortal comprehension. When response finally emerged, it carried unexpected directive. Historical precedent requires examination before determination proceedings. The temple archives must be accessed for comprehensive context regarding autonomous energy manifestation in mortal vessels. The subjects will be transferred to original Foundation architecture for complete harmonic resonance analysis. This pronouncement created visible consternation among conventional dimensional authorities present in advisory capacity. The Keeper's golden form intensified with evident objection. The temple's substructures remain sealed under harmonic concord quarantine protocols. Access requires unanimous dimensional authority approval through established channels. Emergency determination protocols supersede standard regulatory limitations, the Tribunal countered. With cosmic authority that permitted no further objection. Transfer sequence initiated. Reality shifted once more around Goku and his unlikely allies, Arya the Divine Apprentice defying her hierarchical obligations. Kia the displaced royal guardian seeking answers about her realm's destruction, Luna the shadow assassin whose contract parameters had evolved beyond original limitations, and Mako the techno-organic entity whose scientific curiosity transcended self-preservation instincts. The dimensional transfer completed with mathematical precision, depositing them within architectural space fundamentally different from the Nexus's conventional structure. Where modern dimensional intersection points featured crystalline precision reflecting cosmic bureaucracy's ordered parameters, T's environment displayed organic integration of mathematical principles with natural elements, stone foundations carved with silver inlaid equations supporting living vegetation that grew in perfect geometric patterns. The Temple of Autonomous Masters, Kia whispered with reverent recognition, violet eyes widening at architectural confirmation of historical records. Not destroyed or consumed, hidden beneath the Nexus all along. Arya's pearl eyes reflected similar appreciation despite her divine perspective. The Concord archives suggested the temple had been dismantled during Nexus construction. This complete preservation contradicts established historical record. Luna's Mercury gaze calculated rapidly changing assessment parameters. Operational security through historical misdirection. Logical preservation methodology given autonomous energy's controversial dimensional classification. While his companions processed the discovery's historical significance, Goku experienced something entirely different: immediate resonance between his silver energy and the temple's foundational architecture. Ultra instinct flowed more freely within this environment, requiring less conscious containment despite increased accessibility. The temple recognized his energy signature in ways transcending conventional explanation. You feel it too, Arya noted, observing his reaction with perfect understanding born from shared experience crossing categorical boundaries. The harmonic frequency matches your autonomous energy pattern precisely. This place was built by beings like you. Before he could respond to this profound connection, the temple itself seemed to acknowledge their presence. Silver illumination emanated from previously dormant architectural elements as ancient systems activated in response to compatible energy signature. Walls previously appearing solid reconfigured through dimensional manipulation revealing chambers beyond their initial manifestation point. Automated recognition protocols. Mako identified techno-organic components analyzing the architectural response with scientific fascination. The systems acknowledge compatible energy signatures through quantum resonance patterns preserved despite millennia of dormancy. The temple's activation continued expanding throughout visible structure and beyond, silver energy flowing through architectural pathways like circulation system awakening after prolonged suspension. As illumination reached central chamber, holographic representation materialized with unprecedented clarity despite its ancient origin. The complete temple complex in miniature, revealing structure extending far beyond their current position into dimensional spaces hidden beneath the Nexus foundation for thousands of years. Extraordinary preservation parameters, Luna observed with rare appreciation transcending clinical assessment. The temple exists primarily in dimensional pockets slightly offset from conventional reality planes while maintaining physical anchor points within Nexus Foundation architecture. The holographic representation shifted focus toward specific location within the complex, a chamber designated T. Hero silver illumination significantly brighter than surrounding structure. The temple's automated systems clearly directed them toward this priority destination through illuminated pathways appearing beneath their feet. I believe we're being invited to continue, Kia noted with dry understatement despite evident wonder at the ancient structure's response to their presence. They followed the illuminated pathway through chambers displaying increasingly complex architectural integration of silver energy patterns with physical construction elements. Each space featured preserved artifacts, training apparatus, and historical records specific to autonomous energy manipulation across multiple dimensional frameworks. Training methodology documentation, Mako identified, analyzing preserved instructional elements with technical precision. The temple functioned primarily as educational institution for beings manifesting silver energy capabilities beyond their species' standard parameters. A school for those born with ultra instinct, Goku translated, understanding immediately resonating with his own experience. Beings who needed to understand abilities beyond their world's knowledge. The guided pathway terminated at sealed entrance to central chamber indicated through holographic representation. Unlike conventional doors utilizing mechanical systems, this barrier consists of silver energy pattern requiring specific harmonic frequency for deactivation. Authentication protocol, ARIA identified with divine perception accessing underlying mathematical principles. Barrier requires specific autonomous energy application matching founder frequency patterns. Goku understood instinctively, approaching the silver barrier with calm certainty transcending conscious knowledge. As his hand extended toward the energy pattern, silver manifested around his form, not battle-ready ultra instinct but harmonically aligned resonance between his natural energy signature. The ancient system's authentication parameters. The barrier recognized compatible frequency instantly, silver pattern reconfiguring to permit access while maintaining structural integrity. As entrance materialized, the chamber beyond revealed its extraordinary contents, a perfect preservation of the temple's historical heart, untouched by dimensional authorities who had constructed the Nexus without discovering this hidden sanctuary. Central to the chamber stood life-sized representations of the original temple founders, beings from 17 different dimensions who had manifested autonomous capabilities beyond their species' natural parameters. Each statue featured silver inlaid eyes that caught illumination with unnatural brilliance, creating impression of consciousness preserved within stone. Most significantly, one statue unmistakably represented Saiyan physiological characteristics, the distinctive hair pattern and physical structure confirming historical connection between Goku's species and ultra instinct development previously dismissed as artistic misrepresentation. Historical confirmation parameters exceed all predictive models, Luna noted with uncharacterized. I see wonder despite mathematical precision. The anomalous energy signature represents evolutionary recurrence rather than random manifestation. Not random at all, Kia added, violet eyes fixed on architectural elements surrounding the founder representations. The temple was created specifically to preserve autonomous energy methodology across dimensional cycles. They knew similar beings would eventually manifest regardless of cosmic suppression attempts. Before they could explore these profound implications further, the chamber's central platform activated through silver energy circulation reaching critical threshold. Holographic manifestation materialized with preservation quality transcending conventional technology, a historical recording from the temple's foundation period featuring the original masters demonstrating autonomous capabilities identical to Goku's Ultra Instinct manifestation. The recording contained no conventional audio component, instead transmitting conceptual L information directly to observer consciousness through silver energy patterns. The message transcended specific language limitations. To those who follow our path, you are not anomalies but evolutionary necessity. The silver awareness flows through conscious vessels when dimensional balance approaches critical transition points. Your existence preserves harmony between reality planes when conventional authority structures face limitations beyond their recognition parameters. The holographic demonstration continued, showing autonomous masters utilizing silver energy through training methodologies preserved throughout the temple complex, techniques specifically designed to balance instinctive capability with conscious direction rather than surrendering awareness to pure autonomous response. The training system remains operational, Mako observed with technological assessment transcending historical appreciation. The preservation protocols maintained functionality despite millennia of dormancy. But why hide this knowledge? Goku questioned, genuine confusion surfacing as implications crystallized. If Ultra Instinct helps maintain dimensional balance, why would cosmic authorities suppress its development? Arya answered with perspective balanced between divine understanding and individual interpretation. Categorical power distribution forms the foundation of cosmic governance structures. Beings existing between established classifications threaten organizational systems dependent on clear hierarchical separation. Divine energy belongs to divine beings, Kia Tra. N slated with political directness born from personal experience with displacement. Mortals manifesting similar capabilities represent systemic threat to established authority regardless of beneficial applications. Their philosophical discussion paused as the chamber's systems initiated secondary activation sequence. Preservation protocols expanding beyond historical documentation to practical application architecture. Training apparatus throughout the space energized with silver illumination, automated systems preparing for immediate implementation. The temple responds to your presence specifically, Arya noted, observing how systems oriented toward Goku with particular responsiveness. Your autonomous signature matches founder parameters more precisely than theoretical models would predict. Before they could explore this connection further, reality distorted around the chamber's entrance as dimensional transfer protocols activated without conventional initiation parameters. From this spatial disruption materialized beings representing cosmic authorities' response to their unauthorized temple access, celestial observers led by the senior Harmony Keeper, containment artifacts ready for immediate implementation. The quarantine has been breached. The Golden Divine being announced with harmonic resonance that threatened architectural stability through opposing frequency patterns. All present entities will submit to immediate containment pending tribunal determination regarding unauthorized temple activation. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.